There is a grand final place at stake today. For the Blues, the chance to make their 27th appearance on that one day in September. For the fledgling Crows, their first. Carlton, with their 2-point win over Essendon last week, are now the premiership favourites, while all of Adelaide are behind the Crows, who last week came of age in Melbourne. It's Carlton versus Adelaide in the AFL second semi-final.
Hi everyone, welcome along to Waverley. Indeed it is the second semi-final. It's Carlton against Adelaide. The winner advances to the grand final in a fortnight's time. The loser faces the prospect of sudden death at the MCG next Saturday. Now both these sides won last weekend. Of course, the Blues defeated Essendon by 2 points in a thriller under lights at the MCG on Saturday. And then on Sunday, history was made. The Crows defeated Hawthorn by 15 points. They fell behind, they came again. It was an outstanding performance. A bigger crowd than last week here at Waverley. I'd suggest at the present time about 45,000. Looking back to last Sunday, Max Stevens takes a look at the aftermath of that great game on Sunday for the Crows.
4,000 screaming fans crammed into the Adelaide airport last Sunday for the return of the Crows after they eliminated Hawthorn. The welcome even rivalled the Beatles when they made an appearance in the 60s 30 years ago at the same venue.
We had expected a few, but the pilot confirmed it while we were up in the air, and then the police got on the plane and told us it was just chock-a-block and just to be careful, but no, the reception was fantastic.
Wayne Wiedemann is without question the Crows' cult hero. Once upon a time, it was only at Football Park you would hear the catch cry, "Weed." Now it's heard at most venues he stalks, and by golly, he can hear it.
It's pretty hard not to, mate. It's pretty loud, and you know, it's just sometimes it's very embarrassing. I get a bit embarrassed by it all, but no, it's fantastic support, and you know, you couldn't want anything more.
This week, Adelaide trained Monday and Tuesday, a rest day midweek, and then their final session was Thursday before jetting across to Melbourne yesterday afternoon. Carlton is a side the Crows respect, but let's not forget, a berth in the finals is up for grabs today.
We've got an exceptionally good back line and exceptionally good centre line as well, so you know, they've got their worries on us as well, but it'll be the best of the midfielders, I think, that'll win the game.
We realised after beating Collingwood and making the finals that wasn't the end of the road, it was just the beginning, and now after beating Hawthorn again, it's just one step in, you know, I guess a three-step ladder to what the ultimate goal is at the end of the season, and the boys realise that, you know, one win like that doesn't make a season or doesn't make a career. There are still a couple of more important steps to take.
So finally the Crows, they're home by 15 points. Expectations very high now in the city of churches, the city of the Crows. They've got their supporters here this afternoon. Well, so much for the Crows. What about the Blues? Here's Jim Wilson.
One step closer to AFL glory, and for the Blues, that 2-point victory over Essendon last Saturday night at the MCG was so sweet. But Carlton realises today's clash is a whole new ball game against the Crows team brimming with confidence and enthusiasm.
I just hope that we collectively play better football than they do, and we'll need to have the pill a bit to do it because they certainly run very quickly and use it very well, so we want to have our percentage of the ball. If we don't win it, then we couldn't expect to win the game.
Any time you beat Hawthorn in the final, you've got to be playing well, and especially when they were, you know, halfway through that last quarter, I thought Adelaide were nearly gone, but to come back obviously shows they've got a bit of character.
The Blues trained earlier this week at Waverley Park, focused on the job at hand. At stake, a spot in the grand final, while a loss means they'll have to face Essendon or the Eagles in next week's preliminary final.
We'll have our hands full, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I don't ever see it going to be a demolition job. I would hope not by either side.
The Blues have had few injury worries. Greg Williams failed to train on Thursday night, though, deciding to rest a knee injury, but Diesel is right to play. But not such good news for defender Peter Dean. He was cleared to play, but was overlooked at the selection table. These two teams have met on just the one occasion this season, the Blues thumping the Crows at Princes Park by 79 points. Kernahan and Heaver ran right up forward, kicking 5 goals each, but this Adelaide lineup is a far more experienced and confident side that lost back in round 12.
And so looking back, as Jim said, their last meeting in round 12, Carlton, big winners there by 73 points. Kernahan and Heaver both bitted 5 goals that afternoon. Greg Williams, best of field. The names, well, they loom large again this afternoon. The prize is a place in the grand final, the second semi-final. It's Carlton and Adelaide. All of the action right after this.
The name of the game is Australia.
However, the Crows will not be easy to defeat today. They are very good side, improving on the time. They have a band of players now up towards McGuinness and Dermot Garman stays and influence players like Michael and Dipple and Smart. Very, very good team. Carlton will have to be at their best to win. I think they will be. They do spend a couple of superstars themselves, of course, particularly Kernahan still forward, side of Stone, also Bradley, and on board he's also played himself. So those two players are covered by South Australia or Adelaide. Well, you'll find it's going to be very, very much Carlton tonight. We're doing it not going to happen, but Carlton one time this season. They play really, really tough football. It's concentrating a lot on the spin work and not showing themselves as being not easy to defeat. A lot of things to it, that's what I'm getting at. All that was removed today because I think the Crows are regular game in the country and playing in Melbourne and getting used to the flight and the feel of the situation over there.
And back at the second semi-final, last week the crowd was disappointing. Today is better, as I estimated earlier, probably 40 to 45,000 at the moment. Plenty of support for the Crows, just a bit longer drive. Look at that. It's built up nicely as we say a very good afternoon to Drew Morfitt and Bernie Quinlan. Gentlemen.
Afternoon, Dennis, and it should be a great day. You're going to laugh at this, but I reckon the crowd last week helped the Crows over the line because when they kicked goals, there was a reaction, and they haven't had that all year.
There's no doubt about that,
they'll
Drew.
get it
and
today
especially
as well.
today, they'll get it again here at Waverley Park. The crowd has built up, and there's plenty of the Adelaide colours in that crowd. So,
they buried Carlton. Well, that's a payback because last week in Melbourne, a radio station here buried the Crows and the Eagles, but they came up trumps.
Well, 79 points the last time they met, the only time they've met this year. But I wouldn't worry about past history because they really got rid of all that last week, didn't they? Because they'd lost twice against Hawthorn this year, the Crows, and came out and won that game by 15 points. So this should be a very tight game, Drew. I don't think it'll be either one-sided either way, one way or the other. And I think the big key to this is can the Crows hold Steve Kernahan?
Yeah. Well, you consider their only away wins for the season were against the bottom three sides, Brisbane, Sydney and Richmond, until last week when they defeated Hawthorn. A major breakthrough for the Crows, and they'll gain a lot from that. I thought they were gone in the last quarter when the Hawks hit the front, so to come from behind and win it was terrific. So let's have a look at the sides as they pick them today.
On the Carlton side, of course, we've got Silvani, played a great game last week at fullback. Michael Sexton's played every game of the season at centre half back. He's been terrific. And my tip for the Brownlow medal, Greg Williams in the centre. Ron DiUlio on the interchange bench has got a little bit of pace, something that Carlton has not had in the side this year. Of course, Steve Kernahan at full forward has been magnificent. Had a knee injury there for some of the season, but he seems to be back in his best form at the moment. And Earl Spalding also played a great game last week against Essendon.
Well, I agree that Steve Kernahan is the key, and Adelaide in a bit of trouble at full-back. Firstly, Ben Hart, an All-Australian, injured and couldn't take his place. Then they named Rod Jamieson at full-back, but he has been a withdrawal because of a chest complaint. We're guessing that Tasker might get the job, but when they played at Princes Park earlier in the season, after Hart had 3 goals kicked on him quickly, well, it was Smart who went back there. But I don't know that they can afford to take Smart back because he's been such a good forward this year. So full-back will be a problem against, guess who, Steve Kernahan.
And a South Australian and a West Australian prowling the boundary this afternoon. We say good afternoon to Max Stevens and Ross Glendinning.
Good afternoon, Dennis. Great conditions here. I mean, a little bit of overcast, but okay.
Actually, just watching the game before, Max, actually the conditions are very good. The ground's terrific, and I don't think we'll get much rain at all, if in fact it does rain.
Adelaide Carlton, how do you see it?
Actually, I'm favouring Adelaide a bit, Max. I just think their form's been very good, and Carlton last Saturday night, whilst they played reasonably well, just struggled a bit, Max, and I just think that the run of Adelaide has been very good, and I think Carlton might have trouble keeping up.
Well, Carlton, Stephen Kernahan, going to be a great worry for the Crows.
Yes, we just heard Drew and Bernie talking about that, Max, and I think the difficulty there now with Jamieson not playing, they may have to look at someone like Wigney, Max, who came in last week and did quite well at centre-half forward or in the forward area. I agree, I don't think you should move Smart from the half-forward line. He's been terrific there, so a bit of a problem, but I think Wigney might be the bloke who could do the job.
Rod Jamieson out for Adelaide, that's a huge blow. I mean, it could unbalance them. Would you see it that way?
Well, that is the problem, of course. I think he's been a player who's played wing, half-forward, now slotting to full-back. He's that versatile type of player, Max, who also, with his kick-offs, he's a very good kick at the football, so it does unbalance him a bit, but I still think that Adelaide might get up.
It was said during the week that out of all the sides, the one side Adelaide doesn't match up well against is Carlton.
Yes, well, that's interesting, but I think conversely, Max, that Carlton don't match up that well with Adelaide, so the run in the midfield of Adelaide is very good, and that's where I think Carlton may struggle a little, and their reliance on Kernahan, I think, is just a little bit too much. Spalding's a terrific competitor, but he's not a goal-kicking type of player. Now, you might say that if Modra doesn't fire, where do Adelaide get their goals? But when they've got Liptak, Smart, that sort of player that can chip in with the goals.
Silvani, Modra?
That's an interesting one. I think Silvani might find Modra a bit quick. If it's one-on-one, Max, it'll be quite okay at a high ball, but if it's a pace to a lead, I think Silvani might get caught behind.
Just jumping in there, Max, who do you like this afternoon? Ross going for the Crows.
Well, I'll definitely go for the Crows. Be a close game, though, but Adelaide just. Well, I'm hoping it'll be Adelaide.
Yeah, good on you, Max.
Got 2 for the Crows already. Stand the Crows. What do you think, Drew?
Well, I'll try and even the ledger. Actually, the Crows' worst defeat this year was against Carlton. I'll go the Blues.
Well, I'm with the boys on the boundary line. Dennis, I'm going for Adelaide. I tipped them last week against Hawthorn. They've broken the ice over here in Melbourne, and I think they can do it again.
Well, I've got to say, I like the Crows as well. What do the bookmakers think? Let's take a look at the premiership odds. This is from the Melbourne Tabaret. Carlton premiership favourites at 6-4. You've got to say, coming into his second semi-final, Adelaide at 9-2 for the grand final in the premiership. Great odds there. But Carlton, West Coast, Essendon and Adelaide, how the bookmakers rate them.
Today's game is part of the Carlton and United Breweries 1993 AFL Premiership season. In the 1972 second semi-final, Carlton took on Richmond at Waverley. The Tigers kicked only 1 goal to half-time, but after the long break, the Tigers' Marty McMillan came on to spark a Richmond revival, which saw them hit the front during the time-on period of the final quarter.
The free is low, and you go! It's McLean! Richmond in front for the first time in the match. Where McMillan has already kicked 2 goals, coming in trying for 3. McMillan bobs up on the scene. It's on, it's good! It's a goal, I say! Yes, it's a goal!
The Blues fought back desperately, however. The goal to Barry Armstrong levelled the scores with seconds to go, leaving both teams deadlocked on 61 points each.
It's a charge! Armstrong! It's a goal! They're level! The
easy, of course, with the wind blowing to control the banners. They do a magnificent job, all the cheer squad. Carlton just about ready to go there, the side. Okay, so you see both sides of the Carlton banner. The third of Carlton in this one. Well, we know that the British Crows supporters in the crowd here, and they're ready to shout us down the side of there. The other one of the players come in, all right? What a surprise, have you? Looks like they've changed their mind. They're going to start doing it right now.
Imposing sight, Waverley Park for the second semi-final. And guess who? They've got support, but not as much as the Blues this afternoon. And I think quite a few non-partisan Victorians going with Carlton. They apologise for that, but then again, they don't like the alternative. The Adelaide Crows, a chance to advance to the grand final. Terrific finish for them. They beat Collingwood. They forced their way in, got a bit of luck. Of course, last week the luck continued when the West Coast Eagles won. And now, 4 quarters of football away from what will be a fantastic result for them, a place in the grand final. So welcome back to Waverley, just in time for the announcement of the Norwich Rising Star Award. Here's Craig Willis.
In its inaugural year in the AFL, the Norwich Rising Star Award has created a huge amount of interest. 22 nominees were selected during the home and away season by a panel with a wealth of experience, consisting of Russell Ebert, Gerard Healy, Ted Whitten, Mal Brown, Ricky Quaid and AFL boss Ross Oakley as the non-voting chairman. Ross Oakley had nothing but praise for the Rising Star concept.
There's no doubt the talented list of nominees are at the top of their career path, which forms a very important part of our national development program, starting right at the bottom with Vic Kick and Auskick and progressing through the ranks to the Teal Cup and ultimately onto the AFL.
Essendon coach Kevin Sheedy was pleased. The Bombers had 5 players, including Dustin Fletcher and James Hird, as nominees. However, it was Brisbane Bears utility Nathan Buckley who was named the Rising Star of 1993. At 21 years of age, Buckley already has a great record, a McGarry medal, a premiership with Port Adelaide in the SANFL and an assured future in the AFL.
I've been very happy to have my opportunity to play AFL this year. I could have stayed in South Australia but opted to travel to Brisbane, and they've been very good, and I've enjoyed my year immensely up there, and I really hope that my progress can continue, and that maybe being the inaugural winner of this award, that maybe I could sort of get it kicked off in the right direction and maybe go places in the future. We'll see how it goes.
For his efforts, Buckley receives this bronze statue, inspired by the name Rising Star. He also was given a financial boost. At the start of 1993, Norwich invested $10,000 on behalf of the eventual winner. In just 9 months, the portfolio was worth more than $12,000. The money is certainly a bonus. However, Buckley is yet to decide where his football future lies. There's no shortage of offers.
6 or 7 clubs I'm in the process of or have spoken to, and until I make my decision, really, that sort of, it doesn't matter who I talk to.
According to the owner of the land of Carlton, the owner of the land, would you please go to the ground manager's office?
Adelaide out for some time, and now the arrival of Carlton. Despite what we had to say, warm favourites this afternoon, the Blues. And like Adelaide, looking to charge to the grand final. A terrific season for them. They've come from 7th last season. They last won a premiership back in '87. One of the perennial powers of VFL, AFL football. As we go down to the boundary now for Max Stevens with the Mitsubishi Motors ground report. Max.
Dennis, pretty good conditions as we said earlier. Let's first up have a look at the wind, and it's about 5 k's blowing right to left of screen, favouring the members' pocket. Goal advantage, 1 to 2 goals. The ground condition for this time of the year is excellent. The forecast, cool and cloudy with a few showers. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Expected top 16 degrees. We've already reached out our current temp 16. Humidity 58%.
So the weather ideal at the present time for footy. And I suppose you look to either end of the ground this afternoon, Bernie. Modra and Kernahan. Ironic, really, an ex-South Australian could be the biggest problem as far as the Crows are concerned.
Yes, no doubt about that, Dennis. Steve Kernahan in excellent form last week. 4 goals in that opening term. In fact, the only 4 goals Carlton kicked in that first quarter against Essendon. And I think at the other end of the ground, Tony Modra, on 121 goals for the season, will be in for a tough afternoon with Stephen Silvani picking him up. But Tony Modra has been excellent in only his second year of football, has been a great player for the Adelaide Crows right throughout the year. And Silvani won't want to let his guard down in the least, because Tony Modra is a very talented player. But I think Tony Modra will have his hands full. Silvani, a great fullback for Carlton.
The umpires this afternoon, Peter Carey and Hayden Kennedy. And just a reminder, there can be no tie. If the scores are level, at the finish of 4 terms, we'll go to extra time. 5 minutes each way, 2 quarters of extra time this afternoon. But that's a long way ahead. At the present time, both these sides looking in the shorter term. They want to finish it off in 4 quarters of footy. We're just about set to go then for the national anthem. Former West Australian Earl Spalding, who came across to play with Melbourne. He played in the grand final with the Demons, and now a chance to go to his second grand final, this time with Carlton. And I suppose a lot of people doubted that Adelaide could get to this game. Rank outsiders going into that game against Hawthorn last Sunday. Drew, you saw it. What were your impressions of their effort?
Well, I just thought they were fantastic, Dennis. And as I said in the opener, once Hawthorn hit the front in the last quarter, I really thought the force was with them. So for the Crows to come back, inspired by a lip-tack goal that bounced through from about 70 metres, then that is the sort of thing that's going to lift a team. And they followed up with a couple more. Lip-tack was magnificent all day. And Smart on the forward line has been a genius move this year, really, by Graham Corns. He was an All-Australian defender, but by gee, has he given some defences some trouble this year.
And Graham Corns, Bernie, has been innovative. I mean, he swung Wiedemann onto the forward line as well, and suddenly they've got some muscle down there. A player like Wiedemann can buy a bit of space and time for the lip-tacks of this world.
Yes, that's true. Very true with that, Dennis. But Wiedemann, he was sort of having his problems at halfback. He was in and out of the side. He looked like he was going to be a very good halfback at one stage. And then he was out of favour because he did some, well, rather undisciplined things that gave away goals, you know, when they could least afford to give goals away, the Adelaide side. But playing at half forward, he has been very good. But then again, Dennis, I was talking to an ex-Hawthorn coach the other day, and he said, if you ever wanted...
that? How recent the ex?
Not the recent ex one. He said to me, if you ever wanted to coach AFL football, it would be the West Coast Eagles or the Adelaide Crows. He said, I could coach until I was 95 with those 2 sides.
Well, I don't know about that. Michael Malthouse has had his problems, of course.
Well, Alan Joyce wouldn't have been sacked if he'd had that record with the Eagles, because they reckon he got the sack because he went too defensive. And the Eagles are very defensive, and that's the way they go about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, funny business, isn't it, the old coaching? Very strange.
They won a premiership by doing it, but it wasn't good enough at Hawthorn.
Now, this crowd has really filled in now. It's probably up around the 50,000 mark, which is terrific. A late arriving crowd, but they're here en masse now, and a lot of support for the Adelaide Crows. As we said at the outset, they've been prepared to travel by plane and car. Last week and again this week. They're guaranteed today and another final round appearance. Perhaps they could play next week and the following week as well. And of course, factored into all of this is the chance the West Coast Eagles could play the Adelaide Crows somewhere along the line.
Either a preliminary final or a grand final.
Yep. We're standing by for the national anthem now at Waverley, getting ready for this second semi-final and a berth in the grand final in a fortnight's time. A big roar goes around this ground, and the city of Adelaide holds its breath. We're just about set to go. I remember talking on a radio program going back about 4 or 5 years discussing whether in fact an Adelaide team would come in. I made the point that it would be something special, and a couple of people begged to take issue. Let's go down to Max Stevens.
Just waiting on the toss. Peter Carey putting the coin up. Chris McDermott has won the toss and elected to kick left of screen. Left of screen, Chris McDermott winning the toss.
And what a moment that was for Chris McDermott and Steve Kernahan, mates since they were about 8 years old. They played at Glenelg together under Graham Corns, and here they are opposing captains in an AFL final.
Yes, a marvellous moment. Adrian Gallagher. Already the pressure showing on the face of the Carlton veteran. Well, at least a second chance for either side this afternoon, but they want to go directly to the grand final. And in stark contrast to last Saturday at this ground, a real finals atmosphere.
Well, Steve Kernahan, we talked about who might pick him up after the problems at fullback for the Adelaide Crows. And Kernahan is going to be a problem for any defence. And we'll have a look now to see who goes down to pick up Steve Kernahan. Pittman.
There's Tony Modra at the other end of the ground. Well, no surprises there because Steve Silvani did such a good job last week on big Paul Salmon. So, as I was saying, a tough afternoon ahead for Tony Modra. Nigel Smart picked up by Mil Hanna, who spent a lot of time on the centre line. Of course, he was a late withdrawal in their only meeting this year.
Well, Brent Heaver kicked 5 goals against Adelaide the first time round, and he's picked up by Visca.
And Earl Spalding, who did a very good job at centre-half forward, being picked up by the shorter Rodney Maynard.
Away we go in the second semi-final. Madden and Wren. It favours Madden. He gets it down. Bickley upended. McKay coming through strongly. Bickley will get the free kick. What a season he's had. Mark Bickley alongside the centre circle, probing kick down towards centre half forward. Smart props in front. Hanna knocks away. Liptak, one of the stars in recent weeks, pulls it back too far. It bounces out of bounds in the left full forward pocket. Matthew Liptak.
Actually, Dennis, that's also a very good move with Hanna, I think, going to centre half back. He has the pace and the agility to go with Nigel Smart.
Graham Corns. Madden in front. Sexton from the side. Williams couldn't control it. Shows courage to dive in after it. And a whistle. Bounce. Left full forward pocket for the Crows.
Greg Williams nursed through the week, doing gym work and swimming. He didn't train once. And he's just going to get to the end of the season with that knee. Cleared out of the pack and bounces out of bounds. David Parkin and Colin Kinnear.
Interchange for the Adelaide Crows, David Brown and Sean Tasker.
Boundary throw in, half forward for the Crows. Palm down by Madden to Williams. He gets clear on the left boot. The kick only to half back flank. Tregenza charges at it. Diulio tries to palm him off. Lost control of the football, but the whistle's gone, and it's going to be an Adelaide free kick to come back to McDermott.
There's a free there against, I think it may be going to Tregenza through, because Rowan Welsh, when he was about to be tackled, fended off with a palm to the face.
Inside the 50. Oh, uncontested. Bone should have taken the mark, but snaps for goal anyway. In the goal square, a big chance. Wigney gets the first goal. Well, he was a surprise last week, kicked 3, and he's on the scoreboard already.
Yes, he did a pretty good job last week. In fact, he kicked those 3 goals in the second half when goals were very tight and hard to come by for the Adelaide Crows. Played in the forward pocket, spent some time on Gary Ayres. There he was appealing for the free kick. He got the fortunate bounce there, spilt back to him, and Stewie Wigney, the former Footscray and Sydney Swans player, putting that one through on the left boot.
The old bounce of the ball, on its point. Back to Wigney. Adelaide lead. Wren gets it down. Jarman out of the middle towards half forward. Ratton got a hand to it. Liptak leads back in the race though. Hanna in close attendance. Play on's the call. It's paddled down towards the pocket. Silvani goes off the ground. Taken by Anderson right on the 50. Anderson long kick. A wayward one out of bounds on the full. In the right full forward pocket. Greg Anderson. Christou. Sends play back towards half-back. In front, Wren. Fell at his feet. Wiedemann's got it. Charges out of the pack. Miscues initially. Now fumbles. He's in trouble. Goes to ground. Taken high.
Yes, good decision, Dennis. No doubt about that.
Bit lucky. He did fumble, and the hand pass wasn't good, but...
No, I think he should have got it to the boot immediately. He had it in the first instance, but we see the first tackle, the second tackle. No doubt about that. It was a high tackle.
Wiedemann from 60 metres out. Very high kick. He's kicked it a long way. He's just missed. But the adrenaline is surging. If that kick's anything to go by, he's kicked it about 70 metres.
Yes, breeze with him, but it's not a gale. A breeze only. Steve Silvani looking for his options to kick in. Bradley offering a lead towards the outer side.
Got it pretty well covered there, Drew, haven't they, the Adelaide, using the zone defence.
Sexton punched away from him. Sexton waited rather than approaching the ball, and Bone got it out of bounds.
Just trying to see. I think Tony McGuinness has been given the job on Greg Williams and trying to stick with him, but Matthew Hogg's been given the job on Tony McGuinness. So McGuinness really with two opponents at the moment. We'll see how that fares.
Hogg gets Jarman. Tregenza a high ball short of the square. Bounces on the point again. McKay, a South Australian against South Australians. His kick to the 50. Tough in there. Tregenza's been prominent. Just gets the hand pass away. Wiedemann has to wait. Does well.
Oh.
It's taken high again.
Oh.
And the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
He may have been on the wrong side of it. The
Certainly
umpire
was, yeah.
Because it was definitely high. And he saw it. Here it is again. Fraser Brown. Have a look at that. How can you not award a free kick for that?
The old sleeper hole. Williams dives on top of it. Held to him, says the umpire. Ball up.
Chris McDermott picking up Craig Bradley. Another tagging job.
Madden props in front, slaps it towards the boundary line. Tregenza, though, gained about 15 metres. McGuinness is in there, claimed by Hogg. Williams again, slung to the ground by Wiedemann. And the umpire is going to award a free kick to Greg Williams.
He's good at those, Greg Williams, in close quarters. He certainly lets the umpire have a good look at it.
Sexton up the ground from half-back. A runner alongside. That's Alvin. He ignores that and goes for distance. Wide kick towards the wing. Heavers in front. Rashudo got a fist on it. It fell forward. Tregenza's been everywhere. Rashudo runs on alongside the centre circle. Kicks it down towards half-foot. Back goes Big Bone. Got a hand to it. This is Williams. Good evasion. He's so clever. Hogg, right half-back. Towards the wing. Ill-directed kick. The Crows lead in all directions. And the mark is taken by Rashudo, the only teenager on this ground this afternoon. McDermott down towards half-forward. Big pack at the fall of the ball. Jarman roves the pack. Aided by a good shepherd from Wiedemann. It was well played in there, though, by McKay. Although he did get the free kick away.
Free kick initially, I think it was a low tackle on Wiedemann. He was legged.
Second free kick already, and that's across the ground. It's as far from goal as he was when he kicked it. Christou goes off the ground up towards centre wing. McGuinness and Anderson leading the race. They almost contest between each other. McGuinness takes it. The kick towards the 50. Bones had a couple of chances. That was Wigney underneath it. Good mark taken by Milhana. Carlton struggling, haven't had it forward of the centre of the ground yet. Close to the boundary line. Williams. Is that a mark? There's a push out. Free kick to McGuinness.
I'm not sure if they've sorted themselves out there or not, because Hogg was definitely tagging Tony McGuinness. We have a look at this in replay. Yeah, definite push out there by Greg Williams.
His kick up towards centre half forward. Madden backing into the pack. An excellent mark by Big Harry Madden. Now it comes out to Silvani. Up towards centre wing. Spalding works to the front. Can't take the mark, but gets the crumbs. Goes off the left boot, goes very wide. Anderson leads the race here. McDermott doing the shepherding for him. Anderson needed a good shepherd too. His kick with no great penetration. It bounces in a nest of Crows though. Tregenza the hand pass to Jarman. Jarman gets free. Spears the pass low to full forward. Wigney again, but Christou this time in front takes the mark.
Crows have started well, though. The ball goes to the outer side. This is Scholl. If we go back to round 12, Carlton got the fast start and won the game big. 6-1 in the opening term. It doesn't look like that will happen this afternoon. The Blues rarely forward. This is Bickley to Anderson. Hurried kick. They're winning right across the centre, Adelaide, at the present time. Madden gives it away. Wren's got it. 70 metres out. High kick. Wigney and Christou. Christou timely fist. Concedes a behind.
Well, I think that situation has sorted itself out. Matthew Hogg now picking up Jarman. John Dorotich looking on. Interested spectator. I think he may have played possibly his last game with Carlton Seniors, with, of course, the trimming of the list next year.
So score a point to Corns at the moment. Silvani boots in. Good kick too. Alvin takes the mark. One of 6 Carlton players to have played in every game this season. Breaks away. Boots it down towards half forward. Big leap from behind. He needed to punch at Visca. He did. Tregenza lays it off. This is McDermott. McDermott inside the 50. In front Modra. Roving the pack, Wiedemann. He's been everywhere so far on the forward line. McKay gets him. This is Bickley. Bickley runs to 50. Goes home. He's missed to the near side. A behind. Adelaide increase their lead.
And if you think we've called Tregenza plenty of times, we have 7 possessions already in the opening 9 minutes of the game. Gleeson to Sexton. His kick up towards half-back, looking for Madden. Yes, good mark. Nothing Lee could do about that from behind. Away to Brown. Kick by Brown. Holding up a little bit, just forward of centre wing. Huge climb by Rasciuto. And a knock away by the teenager who was playing Teal Cup just last year. And the ball goes out of bounds.
A very good player, Mark Rasciuto, playing on the half-back flank. And of course, a nomination for the Norwich Rising Star Award.
Given a big task last week on Tony Hall. He did pretty well. And his first AFL final in the back to Alvin. And he gets the free kick. And this will see Carlton up towards half forward for the first time in the game. They haven't looked like it yet. So, Steve Kernahan hasn't been near the ball. Kick by Alvin to centre half forward. Over Spalding it goes. Maynard, a one-hander.
He's a good player, Rodney Maynard.
What a terrific mark. In trouble now, but they'll work it out. Visca got it across to McGuinness. McGuinness from half-back. Oh, clever kick. Surrounded Wiedemann, but the ball was delivered perfectly. Tregenza again. He's a light. He's singeing the grass as he runs to the middle. Kicks inside the 50. Where's Modra? Under the ball. Hannah again. Very resolute in defence at the present time. Williams runs to space. Has it at right half-back in the bright sunshine at Waverley.
The Premier's looking, well, the Premiership favourites looking like a rusty machine at the moment.
Williams across the ground. Heaver. One of these stories of the season. Christou runs to the wing. Still he goes. Kicks towards centre half forward. Oh, clever kick, Bradley, the former South Australian. 70 metres from goal. Alvin's off the ground. Madden wants it long. Bradley hangs on too long, but still a man on short to Ulio. One-hander.
Well, Tommy Alvin's off because he was a man with the job on Simon Tregenza.
Yes. Well, he's just been made redundant.
And there's that mark, one-handed mark by Ron DiUlio, the former VFA player. And they need him firing, I think, Carlton, because he's one player with a lot of pace on that forward line.
At 21, Carlton's youngest player this afternoon. Ron DiUlio will kick from just inside the 50. Has it got the carry? Not quite. Madden's in front. Big fist away. Bradley slips. It cost him dearly. Ball runs free. Maynard runs onto it now.
His hand pass into McDermott is brilliant. His hand pass, Rasciuto goes crash and will take a free kick.
Further afield, I think. A relay transferred free kick there to Mark Rasciuto. The whistle had gone.
Adelaide, a very impressive start. They lead 1-3 to nothing. The punch comes to the centre circle. Overrun by Aythorne, who's gone straight onto Tregenza. Williams gets the hand pass to Brown. His kick inside the 50. Wren comes from behind. Gleeson out very wide. DiUlio gets rid of an opponent. Gleeson's kick to Madden. Madden marks just inside the boundary line in the forward pocket.
Well, he can run fast, but he has to, can't he, Justin Madden? Had a stretch to get to that one, and of course favoured on this side of the ground being a left footer. Pretty tight angle though for Justin. He's not a prolific goal scorer for this Carlton side. In fact, Big Justin has kicked only 11 goals for the season.
Now what's he going to try here? The famous banana. Kick straight through it and straight across the face of goal. Off the hands. No, out of bounds on the full, says the boundary umpire. And that's where most of the Adelaide fans are. They haven't seen much of the action. All the play's been up on Adelaide's forward line, other end of the ground.
I think they're very happy about that. Visca goes short. This is Wren. Up towards right half back. Sean Wren hugs the boundary with the kick. Spalding from behind knocks it away from Anderson. Here's Bradley, the will o' the wisp, gets the hand pass away to Brown. Brown right on the 50, goes down towards full forward. It bounces through for a behind. Some indecision there from Brown. I'm not sure he was kicking at goal, but he finished up scoring. Lee, the umpire, was still waving the flags. Lee goes through the motions again and finds Rashudo, the defensive side of left half back. Very impressive youngster. Rashudo goes towards the wing. Bone worked out of it too easily. Well done by Sexton. McKay, another former South Australian, storms forward of the wing. High kick. Now Kernahan battling down there. Pittman knocks it away. Taken by McDermott. The tackle appeared high and he'll get the free kick. Now Kernahan was after the ball and the ball was pretty high up near the shoulder. I'm not sure he didn't make contact initially with the ball, but the umpire may have thought, well, the umpire thought he got him by the shoulder. It was touch and go, that one. McDermott out of defence towards the wing. McKay in front, juggles it. He's paid the mark.
Actually, Dennis, it's not a bad move with Pittman on Steve Kernahan, with Pittman's height. 198 centimetres, Pittman. Up against Kernahan, 196 centimetres.
Kick by Spalding. Big leap by Maynard, but no mark. McDermott the hand pass away. And the kick goes along the boundary line. Kept in by Spalding. Good hand pass. Heaver whips it off to McKay. McKay goes long towards goal. It comes back. And Bradley almost marks, but it's through for a behind.
Carlton are getting back into this game now, though.
Well, the one thing they can take solace from is the fact they trail by just 7 points, and Adelaide have only kicked a goal for all their efforts.
Quite right. McDermott to kick it in. Beautiful afternoon here at Waverley. Ball comes out towards half-back. Now the Crows a chance to advance from here. 3 of them around the ball. Well played again by McKay. He beat 3 of them. McGuinness initially had the run of it. Well played, McKay. Williams feeds it out wide. McKay will get the free kick. Advantage won't be paid. Haythorn wants to kick it on. In fact, he does, but the ball will come back. Well, that was terrific there by Andrew McKay.
Almost, I would think, the recruit of the year, Andrew McKay.
And what
He's
a year
had a wonderful
he
season, hasn't he, with Carlton?
Fined the $10,000 early in the season.
He's played every game, 21 games so far, 22nd today for Carlton.
Blues must have known they had something. Runner up to Buckley in the McGarry medal.
Centering kick. They come from all directions. Anderson could have almost taken the mark. Did well in a tight situation. Boots it through centre. Hannah's doing very nicely on Smart at the present time.
I like that matchup, Dennis. I do like that matchup with Hannah on Smart.
This is Scholl on the outer side. Over the top. Christou. How will it bounce? Awkwardly. Tregenza worries him out of it. Tregenza goes to ground. Carlton, as you can see, they're in number. McGuinness wide of the pack, off the boot. Bad luck there. Williams trying to trap that ball with the foot and direct it to his own advantage. Popped it over the boundary line. Carlton bench. Alvin paying the price of Tregenza getting early kicks. Here's McGuinness from half back. Good kick on the wind. Not a strong breeze. Sexton up in front. Couldn't hang on. Still he battles after it. Ratton comes in. Christou's got it now.
Kick by Christou to half forward. Williams the only hope for Carlton. Wren charges over the top. Maynard blocks it in with Spalding and will have a ball up in between wing and half forward.
Just at the moment, a couple of the Adelaide forwards not leading for the ball. One Bone at centre half forward or across that half forward line, and Wigney in the forward pocket, both trying to use body on body and coming out second on most occasions.
Madden tries to palm down.
Wren copped an elbow there too. That hurt him.
McDermott slow to get up and Madden slow to get up. Mind you, when he stands up, he's got a long way to go. Wren, the youngster. Madden, the veteran. Neither of them. Gleeson won the tap to Bradley, a centering kick. Dive at full stretch, doesn't come off. Scholl gets the hand pass to Heaver. One out is Kernahan. Nothing Pittman could do that time. And here is the potential star for Carlton getting his first decisive touch.
Yeah, what a champion Steve Kernahan's been since he's been at Carlton. A leading goal kicker every season since he's been there. He took over as Carlton captain in his second season. That was 1987. And there he is getting away from Pittman there to take that comfortable chest mark.
Kicked 4 goals in the first quarter under lights last week. 6 for the game. Kernahan, 40 metres out, has goal. Carlton's first goal, and they trail by just a point.
Yes, and I definitely think the breeze is favouring left of screen at the moment. The kick that the end that Adelaide is kicking to. We'll have a look at this in replay again. Carlton just starting to get their act together at the moment. Heaver, who's been a very good forward for Carlton all season, second on the goal kicking table to Stephen Kernahan, and a beautiful pass hit him right on the chest.
On the 7 Sports scoreboard, Carlton trail by a point, but they've dominated the last 10 minutes. This is Gleeson, smothered off the boot. Lee on his knees. Down towards half forward goes the hand pass. Anderson runs onto the loose ball, pulls it back inside the 50. Chance for Modra, left it behind. Christou soccers it to his own advantage. Away he comes, kicks it around the outer side. Carlton there in number. McKay, Bradley's on the assist. Jarman will need to go. He works hard, Jarman, but weight of numbers tell his story. Bradley over the top, sweeping hand pass. Gleeson, one of the stars last week, could have been taken high and again pushed in the back. They'll get the free kick. Well, case for 50. Silvani injured in that last exchange on the forward line for the Crows. I think Modra gave him a backhander unintentionally. Maynard goes up. Spalding's not happy.
Well, we don't like to see that, Earl. If things don't work out, it's no use abusing your teammates.
Maynard's got the ball. High kick back towards the wing. Bones in front this time. That's better. Knocked away by Sexton. Taken by Gleeson. Coming through strongly, Lee. What a terrific season he's had. Boots it down towards half forward. So the Crows attack yet again. Lip tack in a foot race with Ratton. Ratton played it very well. Cleared a path for Silvani. Silvani gave it across to Hannah. Hannah comes away with dash to Ratton. On the burst up from the back pocket, it's Christou.
He's got pace, this young boy. Kicked by Christou to half forward. Spalding at the back. Maynard giving him a lot of trouble. Diulio lost control of it. Heaver goes to ground. Gets the hand pass across the ground to Bradley.
Too high.
Whistle's gone. Free kick to Heaver.
Really, Adelaide having a lot of problems around half forward. Nigel Smart has not had a touch yet. Randall Bone not doing much. And Wigney in the forward pocket, very quiet.
Kernahan on the lead. Takes the mark, but I fancy too far out to score. Looks to pop off a short pass to the pocket. It's come unstuck this time. Visca. And the ball over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in.
Bad option, that one, I think, from the Carlton skipper, Steve Kernahan.
Well, the Crows certainly dominated the first 10 minutes, but Carlton have had the better of the next 10, and the score is 1-3 to 1-2. Adelaide just in front. It comes down to McGuinness. He clears the area for Adelaide. Push out, a Shepherd, and it's a Carlton free kick to McKay. He wasn't sure it was his. Kernahan's a long way from goal, 70 metres out. Steers the pass short for Madden. Well, Big Harry's going to have his second shot for goal. A good 50 metres out, though.
Yes, I think the distance may test Big Justin. Got a good idea of the breeze here, though, with Madden having this shot from maybe just inside the 50.
Well, Kernahan really didn't get back to the goal square after he offered that previous lead. It's no good him getting kicked 70 metres out, surely. Kick by Madden, holds up. Spalding behind, Wren in front. Bradley trying to paddle the ball out for a teammate, but it's taken over the boundary line by the youngster Rasciuto.
Well, the sign's not good at the present time for the Crows. This game has turned considerably. The players, they need to deny possessions. They're getting touches. Bradley, Williams, Kernahan. The longer you keep them out of the game, the better it is. Now the ball across half forward, coming through strongly down there was Wiedemann. Williams did brilliantly to Aythorne, smothered off the boot well. It ricochets outside the 50. A throw there against McKay. Now a push in the back against McKay.
That was a brilliant smother by Bickley.
Across it comes to Brown, 55 metres out. Kernahan's the target, and why not? It comes forward of the pack. McDermott bumped in the back. No free kick. He played it well. Kicks to the outer side. They can make something of this. Wiedemann has to wait. Runners all around. He feeds it back to Anderson. Tregenza runs on. Tregenza's got it now. Liptak is on. He needs to find him. He spots him down the ground now. Liptak can take it and go. Liptak runs to just outside 50. Pulls it back, intended for Wigney. And Wigney's taken the mark.
That's better. Wigney must get in front of Angelo Christou.
The domino theory around the outer side. One caught out and suddenly it fell into place for the Crows.
Yes, Tregenza has had a big impact on this match. Here we see spilling nicely there for Liptak. And the kick into the forward line. This time the forward's in front, not trying to use the body.
Wigney going at his second, and he's got it. Bones off the ground. Wigney's kick too.
Well, Wigney has been run off a couple of times by Christou as we see Tasker onto the ground to play on Sexton. Tregenza playing on the grandstand side. He is covering a lot of ground there, Simon Tregenza. He played on very quickly there. Ratton was caught out because he had to go in and attack the ball and left his opponent free, and that allowed him plenty of space to pass that to Wigney.
Randall Bone, who was a late inclusion, played the first 24 minutes but has gone to the bench, replaced by Tasker. Bounce in the centre. Knocked down by Madden to Bradley. Now Gleeson. Gleeson up to half forward. Spalding a good lead. Gets rid of his opponent. Can go on. Earl Spalding on the run. And as so often happens, he wins the ball well but can't kick for goal.
Yeah, that's a waste, isn't it, by Big Earl? He played a very good game last week on Saturday night against Essendon. But as Drew said, quite often his kicking, especially on the run, lets him down.
An irony in this game, it's 2-1. The 2 goals for Adelaide, kicked by a Victorian, Wigney coming from Leongatha, and Carlton's goal kicked by a South Australian, Kernahan. Knocked up the ground by Wren. Comes to Spalding again. Just took half a second too long.
That's Mother again by Bickley, Drew.
Maynard, who starred in the SANFL last week and won his recall, off to McGuinness. His kick to half forward. Smart can't get into the players yet. Hannah. Well played by Mill Hannah. Off and running. Dodging, weaving, but a good tackle by Wiedemann. Now brings Athorn in.
High kick towards half forward. Rashudo wasn't a mark, not according to the umpire. Maynard over the ball. Oh, clever hands. McDermott. You've got to like the boy Bickley as well. He's terrific. There goes the kick inside the 50. Modra was up. Loose ball behind. Liptak. He's cagey. Watch him here. He works against Ratton. Modra has it. Great tackle. Shoulder bring him down. Back comes Liptak. They tie it up and a ball up. Well, Bickley 2 smothers and he missed McKay. And when McKay, I think, watches the replay, he'll breathe a sigh of relief.
You're right. The crowd went, ooh.
He spotted him from 20 metres, didn't he? It was like a homing device. Won by Madden. This is Liptak in trouble, holding the ball surely. Heaver, he'll take it on the outer side. Brett Heaver, without question, the prize of last season's mid-season draft. 45 goals this year in 21 matches.
And the tackling in this game has been superb. The mark by Wren was about 3rd in line.
Oh, he's a good young player, Sean Wren. 12 votes last year in the Brownlow. Very impressive.
From centre wing. Minute and a half to go to quarter time. Heaver at half-back flank for the Blues. Back to centre wing. Williams is there. Maynard in front. Can't bring the mark down. A wrestle. And there's Chris McDermott last to get up. Steve Kernahan won the best and fairest at Glenelg 3 years in a row. Came over to Carlton. And McDermott won it the next 3 years in a row.
Madden. McDermott to Jarman. The old firm. High kick towards half forward. Ratton comes across. Unkind bounce. Lee played it superbly. Liptak to McGuinness, who measures the kick from 45 metres out. And uncharacteristically has slipped it across the face. Tony McGuinness finding some space there. Got to be a strong candidate for the Brownlow. approaching 450 kicks for the season. That's number 1 in the AFL as the coaches look on. McGuinness this afternoon, already 7 kicks. Here's Silvani. A bit of 10 goals against Fitzroy back in, I think, round 16. Kicking in, finds Heaver. Heaver, about 25 metres from his own defensive goal, stubs the ground. It comes to Hogg. Lucky let off for the Blues. This is Ratton.
Kick by Ratton wide, too wide for Bradley. Couldn't control the ball, out of play. Probably be the last bit of play in the first quarter. A very low scoring affair. Adelaide 2-4, Carlton 1-3. Smart going in ruck against Madden. Pops one over his head. Wiedemann. Caught by Bradley. Umpire said, give it to me. He won't have time to ball it up. That is quarter time here at Waverley. And it's a 7-point lead to the Crows. 2-4 to 1-3.
The name of the game is Australia.
Quarter time at Waverley, and the Crows lead by 7 points, 2-4 to 1-3. Wigney has 2 goals for the Crows. For Carlton, the sole goal scorer Stephen Kernahan. Down on the boundary, Max Stevens is tagging Ross Glendinning.
Very good. Well, Graham Corns made the point that 10 minutes isn't going to win you a game of football. He was particularly happy with that first 10 minutes, but he said they didn't carry it on. That was pretty obvious. Tony Modra, he had a quiet word to him. He's asked him to lead. He said he's not particularly happy with the way he's playing. Corns also concerned about half forward, wants a lift there. Randall Bone coming off at the 24-minute mark. Sean Tasker going to a pocket, and Wigney across half forward now.
Well, David Parkin was quite pleased with his back half. He thought the players worked very hard there, particularly the way the ball was coming down quickly. He had a good word with Greg Williams and Craig Bradley, both their respective opponents in McDermott and McGuinness, getting a fair bit of the ball. They're going to try and tighten up there. But he said, now watch your kicking. The kicking hasn't been as good as it should be. Midfield must be much better.
Great matchup, that one. Lacks a bit of height, but great attitude. Let's take a look at the stats so far.
Well, a very tight opening quarter there. Carlton on top in the stats, in fact. Not by a lot, but they just look at the marks, 24-11. Certainly well on top there. Adelaide on top out of the centre. Bounces Wren and Madden. I think Wren, as this game wears on, will have a bigger impact on the game because of his fitness and more agility than Justin Madden. And free kicks pretty even as well. Hit outs 10-3 favouring Justin Madden.
Tregenza 9 possessions in the first quarter. Heaver 9 for Carlton. McGuinness 7 kicks. McDermott 4 and 4.
David Brown and Randall Bone on the interchange for the Crows.
Now Carlton with the slight breeze in the second quarter. The Crows lead by 7 points. Madden faces Wren. Wren a decisive hit out. But now it's up for grabs. Aythorne clipped round the air. Came on to replace Alvin. And interesting that Aythorne is at his 5th league club, so he's really been around for a total of 81 games. Try this for size. Essendon, Footscray, Fitzroy, Sydney, and now Carlton.
I think you just about hold the record, Drew.
More clubs than Jack Nicklaus.
Lots of socks.
Bickley can't get his boot to ball, but gets fist to ball. Now to Tregenza. McDermott up towards the 50, and Tasker takes the mark coming up from the pocket. So Christou, who had quite a bit of the ball in the first quarter, his opponents kept getting the ball as well. Christou had 6 and 1 in the first quarter, but Wigney kicked 2 goals, and now will Tasker kick another one? Too far out, it holds up. Edge of the square, Modra didn't get a touch in the first quarter, and the ball's flipped over the boundary line for a throw-in.
So you could have almost had that at the second grab there, Tony Modra, but it was knocked, I think, away by his teammate in Liptak.
Here's the throw-in. Wigney in front. Directs it down towards the goal face. Modra keeps it alive. Ratton at close quarters to Silvani, and now Sexton runs it out. Boots it towards half-back. In front, Hogg over the top, Jarman. Well done by Bradley. Charged the hand pass down. Then kicks it out towards the wing. Big Wren left it behind, but he's got support at close quarters to Lee. Lee gets it wider, stretched it, got it to Rashudo. His kick was a shocker though. In front, Gleeson went to ground. Diving in with courage, Lee. This is Scholl. Still Scholl on his knees, was tripped. Brett Scholl, left half back. Plays on. Not a particularly good kick towards the middle. Spalding missed it. Tregenza, who started so well, very important player for them, gets it to Anderson. Anderson across the ground to space, and Maynard, a runner outside Rashudo. Rashudo kicks inside the 50. Wide of the mark, it's missed by a rat, and Tasker slides in. The umpire says holding the ball.
Gee, that's a tough call, Dennis. In that situation, he was at full stretch. I don't think he had the ball trapped underneath him.
Here's Christou. If anything, the tackle by Christou was a little clumsy there. Ball towards the outer side. Spalding, terrific grab.
Magnificent mark by Spalding. Pops out the hand pass wide. Sexton up to half forward. Kernahan a long way from goal and just about over the boundary line, but the mark is paid. Kick and a half to goal from there. Gleeson. Lee a good spoil.
She's a good player.
Carlton were just about to make a change there too, with Spalding charging across towards the interchange area and Rowan Welsh. And they put their hand up, so that mark may have saved Earl Spalding.
Good mark, just in the nick of time. Kernahan tries to take clean possession, tries to soccer off the ground. Visca looks for the boundary line and finds it. And the umpire calls for a throw-in. Chance here for the Blues. They've kicked just 1 goal, 3 for the game. But fortunately for them, their opponents just 2-4. Kernahan works to the front, but Pittman palms it away from him. Brown, a wrestle for the ball between Brown and McGuinness, and a ball up. And the work in close, well, it's just like a title fight. Plenty of work to the body, lots of tackling, some of it illegal. Heaver claiming a free, nothing doing. Rasciuto poised for the youngster. Bickley, well done. Rasciuto again. Gee, they didn't have a centimetre to work in there. Hogg, and over the top, a terrific mark, Aythorne.
On in place of Alvin, 80 metres from goal, a centering kick, still outside the 50. Well, right on the line, Anderson juggled it, well, almost held the mark. Wren socketed off the ground, Maynard feeds it out. Anderson, the hurried kick towards the wing. Up comes McKay with support. Wiedemann gave a strong contest. Brown the first on the assist. The hand pass ill-directed. Anderson's run on. Tregenza, the two wingmen on the same side of the ground. Tregenza down towards the 50. And the mark is held by Smart, who's been well held. Smart, not a good kick. Ratton, uncontested.
That was Nigel Smart's first kick. So Mill Hanna doing an excellent job across half-back.
Speak of the devil. Whoops, Mill in trouble. Martin's got him. Socket off the ground. It ricochets off Liptak, out of bounds on the full. Carlton very lucky there.
That was dead set, dropping the ball, holding the ball.
Well, unless he got a little hand pass away, Drew. Let's have a look at that again. Yeah. Little hand pass. So the umpire just in the right position to see that.
He knows no fear. Hanna quite prepared on all occasions to go across the goal face as Hogg boots it towards the outer side. Rasciuto, well, that was interesting. He slapped it a mile in the air. Now he decides to wrestle to Julio. And what's the decision? What?
I agree with that, Dennis, because Julio grabbed him and dragged him towards him.
Maynard stands his ground to take the mark. Well, that's the face of football, isn't it? Currently and for the future, that match-up between Julio and Rasciuto. Up towards half forward, huge pack, off hands to Liptak. A beautiful hand pass over the top. Wigney comes inboard, it sits up for Jarman. He taps it, finessing, and it goes straight to Bradley. A bouncing ball. Williams has been pretty quiet. His left footer, oh, Madden is 30 metres in the clear. Wren giving chase. Ooh. What a sprint. This is something to watch. Madden goes long for goal. He might have kicked it. Whoa. Sensational. I have never seen the like of it.
Oh, big Justin. Oh, that'll bring a smile to Justin's face, I would think. And that's really rubbing the salt into the wounds. And Greg Williams spots big Justin all alone. Away he goes. And where are we? Jurassic Park or Waverley Park?
I was just going to say the same.
Away he goes. A long kick, good goal. Terrific goal, Madden.
Yes, it was like something out of Jurassic Park. Wren chasing Madden through the middle. Julio's off the ground. We've got to scramble it about. On to Julio.
And well shone, Dennis.
Well, Julio's had one possession, and Rasciuto has been far too good for him.
Wren was held, no free kick. Sexton, well done. Here's Aythorne, the defensive side of the wing. High floating kick towards half forward. Welsh is there with Rasciuto. Welsh does well. Heaver, got a shepherd and a half. Down went Visca. It was Spalding who did the shepherding. Out came a defender there in Lee. Tried to give it to Jarman. Back it comes to Hogg. Visca looking to atone. Brown finds Kernahan. Great football.
And looking very good at the moment, Carlton.
Whoa, and there was some squaring up in that pack. A couple of players looking for gentlemen they'd been in contact with only moments ago.
Yes, there's a pass coming from Fraser Brown. And Steve Kernahan never lets him down with his marking power in front of goal.
You get the feeling spurred on by Madden's run, like Manasseh's run. Carlton are making their move. Here's Kernahan. Well, not quite so quick for those who had stopwatches. Kernahan kicks and kicks truly. Carlton lead for the first time today.
There's 2 goals to Steve Kernahan. He now has 60 goals for the season. And as we suggested at the start of the game, big Steve Kernahan may be the difference between these two sides. A quick hand pass there coming from Matthew Hogg, who's got the job on Jarman. And he's a wonderful player, Steve Kernahan, in front of goals. right through the middle, not a problem.
Carlton a couple of goals in the last 3 minutes. Adelaide haven't scored in this quarter. Wren beats Madden. Williams still over the ball and then paddles it forward. Well, the pack just moved forward, and anybody who got in the way, like Scott Lee, was going to get dumped.
And Spalding, I think, hurt as well there. Very slow to get up. Big Earl has done a reasonable job and limping rather badly as he gets up from that pack.
Madden will be chatting to Wren about that goal. There's no risk. He back palms this. Welsh actually has done a few things since he's been there, only in a couple of minutes. But a soccer off the ground goes to Ratton. His short pass, Brown centre circle. Well, Carlton looked rattled in the first 10 minutes of the game, but they're going now. Kicked by Brown. Kernahan sandwiched out of it. Free kick.
Yes, well, he is really a champion, Steve Kernahan, playing at full forward or centre half forward. He has been preferred at full forward the last couple of seasons. Let's have a look at this in replay. Well, I don't think there was all that much in it. Steve Kernahan made it look a little bit worse. Maybe a little bit of holding. We see Pittman's left arm, I think, maybe causing the problem there.
Pittman doing a bit too early, much too early before the ball got to the area. Well, Kernahan can kick his third here. Carlton lead by 5 points. He has been their leading goal kicker in all 8 seasons at Carlton. That's just about over the top of the post, or behind. David Kernahan, his younger brother, also from Glenelg. Well, he can't get a run in this lineup. Named as an emergency.
On the 7 Sports scoreboard, Carlton lead by 6 points. Lee very indecisive. Members side with a kick. Scholl in best position to go up and mark it. Almost did for Carlton. This is Gleeson close to the boundary line. Took it across. Fried not happy, but it was out of bounds.
Just at ground level at the moment. Carlton seeming to get on top in that area when the ball spills loose. It is the Carlton players mopping up on most occasions.
Hogg is doing a pretty good job on McGuinness. Williams. Now Gleeson. Gleeson deep in the pocket. Pulls it back. Not a bad effort. Bent a long way, but behind. So the margin is 7 points now. David Parkin, who's seen it all before. His 8th season with the Blues. Premierships in 81 and 82. And McDermott brings it out. Look out. Across the ground he comes. This is Lee close to the boundary line. Poor football by Adelaide. Nothing much happened there. It'll be thrown in.
And one thing I've noticed, how the crowd has built up since the game started. They're standing in the aisles, and you don't see that too often at Waverley. There are some vacant seats, but not too many vacant aisleways, which is interesting. McDermott couldn't get a fist to that one. Lee goes towards the boundary line again. Gleeson paddles it backwards cleverly. Here's McDermott. Pittman well up the ground. Kernahan with him. The kick to centre wing. Smart just cannot get a touch. Hannah has been his nemesis today. Just holds it up in the tackle. Madden one way then the other. And the pass was clever, except it went straight to the opposition. Anderson. Jarman on the run. McDermott. His kick to centre half forward. Wigney and Sexton, the 2 14s. And Wigney surprises again with another mark. He kicked the Crows 2 goals in the first quarter. In fact, there are only 2 goals for the game. Modra gets his first touch.
Clever kick there too from Wigney. He just placed it out in front of Modra. He got the 2 or 3 metres break on Silvani. And in that situation, Modra is a very dangerous player. And a very good pass. Here we see it just placed out in front. He didn't go for too much with the pass, but just placed it out there and gave Modra that run at the ball.
So here we are. The man who's kicked 121 goals for the season gets his first kick halfway through the second quarter. It's rushed through eventually for a behind. Give that to Ratton.
Well, I said Hogg was on McGuinness. In fact, he was running with him moments ago, but in fact, Williams is still with McGuinness. This is Silvani. Around the outer side, Tregenza. A lot of possessions again this afternoon. His 13th upcoming. Little chip pass, showed too much of it to Silvani on the burst. Takes it, goes. Kicks towards the wing and Welsh. Rashudo closing. Welsh does well. Trips the light fantastic. On the boundary, sets Hogg up. Now Hogg at right half forward. Centres the ball. Not a particularly good kick. Visca should have done a little better. Taken by Spalding. Spalding charged down by Pittman. Williams was pushed in the back.
They'll get the free. Just at the other end of the ground, that mistake kicking to a stationary man. And Silvani set it up beautifully for him.
Brown set a task by Williams, but the kick was good enough. And the effort to mark it even better.
Carlton looking very dangerous at the moment. 6-point advantage. Coming up to the 15-minute mark of this second quarter. And Fraser Brown will be kicking from only about 20 metres out.
Should get this one. This for a 12-point lead. That's a terrible effort.
Well, very ordinary kick there, Fraser Brown. Held right back on that. Didn't kick through the ball. And consequently, he kicked his second behind.
Scott Lee, another Victorian amongst South Australians from Yallourn North. Went to Hawthorn, then over to Adelaide. McGuinness, the long kick. That's McDermott to McGuinness, who got to the back of the pack. He knew how long his skipper could kick it, and away goes Tony McGuinness. The hand pass in. Tregenza back to McGuinness. This is classical Adelaide running football. McGuinness off the left. Tasker.
Beautiful running football, wasn't it? Tony McGuinness. Once he gets a little breather there, a bit of space.
Very wide, but very good.
Well, this has set Tasker a real task.
One end of the ground to the other. Brilliant possession football. Tasker, 40 metres and on the boundary line. Across the face. Modra flies. Bounces off McKay and through for rush behind. So Adelaide have 2 scores in this second quarter, and they're both rush behinds. They're 2-6, Carlton are 3-6.
Silvani pinpoints it. This is Scholl in back pocket. High kick towards the wing. Anderson camped in front. Strong grab.
Yeah, good mark. Strong mark by Anderson. Played a great game last week against... Who did they play last week? Oh, against Hawthorn. A great win, wasn't it?
Gee, you have good memory.
Where have I been?
Anderson, a centering kick. Wigney is marked at about 55 metres out. Notice we both charged in to help.
This bloke...
Wigney, he's doing a pretty good job, isn't he, Wigney? He had a lot of injury problems out last year in Sydney.
I'd venture to say too far out to score. Only his 4th game for the Crows, but what a good time to be playing. Goes for distance. Good looking kick. They'll contest about 5 metres out. Off hands. Ratton slaps it through for a behind. Prepared to make the concession.
That's 3 rush behinds in this quarter to Adelaide.
Ron Ashman in the foreground. Behind him David Parkin, and now Stephen Silvani with a footy.
Well, very low scoring. It's a wet weather scoreline. 3-6 to 2-7.
Well, that just shows how tight this match is early in this second half, second quarter. 16 minutes gone. But both defences well on top.
Silvani, what a shocker! That didn't only go out untouched, it went out on the full.
Oh, that was a shocking kick by Silvani. Occasionally he just makes these little mistakes, but he's a great player at fullback for Carlton.
How did he ever kick 10 goals?
Well, Tasker's had a sight, hasn't he, from here?
Yeah, practiced the last time. And this time he gives it elevation and direction, but Silvani, right on the line, takes a screamer.
Well, it's dangerous play though, isn't it, from a defender flying for those big marks.
But he had something to make up for. He was the one who gave the kick in the first place.
That's true.
There's Hogg. Just about the perfect kick coming in from Tasker too. It's hard to kick them from out there with that cross. Brewer is pushing it out from goal. Hogg a high kick towards the members' side. McKay is up. Juggled mark, not paid. And the ball is pushed across the boundary line by Scholl.
There he is. Modra with the fly initially, but over the top Silvani. He tried one of those last week. It didn't come off because it spilt to the ground and Mercury kicked the goal.
Scholl goes off. Alvin is back on. Wren, meantime, slaps it down, taken by Bradley. And his own half-back line releases Heaver, who boots to midfield. Spalding in from the side. Good. Very good. He's alongside the centre circle. Decides to go. Aythorne smothered off the boot brilliantly down there by Maynard. Lee against the flow. Got it to Jarman, who sweeps it out wide. Now Anderson. Hurried kick towards half forward. In front, the mark is held by Wren. Wiedemann did well. Kept his man from the contest.
Let's play on, surely.
Well, Wren...
The umpire mustn't have been looking there, Dennis, because Wren certainly went as if to hand pass.
Showing some compassion. The big man pops it onto the boot and finds McGuinness. McGuinness to Tregenza, who can run inside the 50. A question of accuracy. Now he's in trouble. Couldn't kick the ball. Maynard, little U-turn. Hard against the line. Kicks. Another chance right on the goal line, but the mark is held this time by Sexton.
Scotty Lee in a bit of trouble for Adelaide. He seems to have a problem with that right shoulder.
Ratton comes out to Bradley. When is a forward going to get a kick? Gee, kick by Bradley to the centre of the ground. They climb high. Welsh couldn't take the mark down to Brown. He pops it over the top. McKay, if he can take this mark, will gather. Will be out in the open. It's tapped on for Andrew McKay. He overruns it. Visca does well. Williams takes one high and will take a free kick. He's not too good, Greg Williams.
I don't know whether it was all that bad. I think Greg Williams at times makes them look a lot worse than what they actually are. But he had his head down. He certainly gives the umpire every opportunity to have a look at it.
Well, the medical staff reckon it was bad enough. They came from everywhere.
Here we go. We'll have a look at it again. Williams with the head down. Yeah, got him with the hip.
It's pretty
hip
hard
on top of the head. Yep. Yeah, dangerous situation. And well spotted by the umpire. Greg Williams, one of my favourites for the Brownlow this year.
Well, look what happened to Harding last week when he was met by a hip. It was a good night for him. Here's Williams steering in short to Kernahan. This time he can't take the mark. Ground level contest. Carlton free. Almost right in front and about 20 metres out. And Welsh has made a difference since he came on.
Yes, he's not a bad player, Rowan Welsh. Of course, he did kick 84 goals in the VFA playing with Dandenong before he's picked up by Carlton. And there's that crude tackle there by Mark Prosciutto.
He was a bit stiff, I thought, Prosciutto, but Welsh was going hammer and tongs at the ball. Eyes only for the ball.
Matthew Liptak coming off for the Crows to be replaced by David Brown. Liptak, one of their very best players last week against Hawthorn.
Welsh for goal. Across the face, and that's two misses by Carlton from about 25 or 30 metres out in this quarter. Brown and Welsh. Well, Liptak, 3 kicks, 3 hand passes. Not the same effect as last week. And Modra at the other end of the ground is showing signs of an injury. Modra's had just 1 kick. But it's 3-7 to 2-7 in an unbelievable scoreline.
Tregenza gets it to Beckley, who storms through the middle, kicks it down towards the 50-metre line. In front, Modra, claimed by Silvani. Ball jarred free. Smart dragged off it. Wiedemann a half chance, tries to slap it on. This is Hannah. Did nicely, kept his composure. Christo gets it across to support around the outer side, McKay, but only as far as Tregenza. Tregenza goes deep to the pocket. Far too deep, as we saw, out of bounds on the full.
Would have been handy if he could have kicked there with the left boot there, Simon Tregenza. Didn't show much confidence.
Christo sends play back towards the outer side. Wren's in front. Over the top, Madden at the second attempt. Flicks it his way. McGuinness carries it across the line, and the ball will be thrown in.
Well, I'd say with the exception of Kernahan and Wigney, if you're a forward, you'd either be looking to be repositioned in defence so you could get a kick or go to the bench.
Yes, a perfect day for forward line play, you would have thought too.
Bickley, pass is good. Tasker, good mark.
Well, Tasker's had a few touches though, Drew, since he came onto the ground to replace Randall Bone. Playing in that forward pocket with Stewie Wigney playing further afield across that half-forward line now. And Sean Tasker much more mobile than Randall Bone. In front of Christou, a very good grab, that one.
We've been playing over 50 minutes and there are only 3 goal kickers in the game. Kernahan 2, Wigney 2 and Madden 1. Tasker, he's had 2 shots from out here. 3rd time lucky, perhaps. Better angle to goal. It's close. Just offline. 2-8 the Crows. 3-7 Carlton.
Yes, well, they're not getting their shots easily. Adelaide in front of goal. A couple of very tight angles for Sean Tasker in this term, and very hard for their key forwards in Smart and Modra to get any of the ball at all.
Silvani straight down the middle. Wren goes up, got a fist on it, taken by Bickley. Quick hands away to McGuinness. McGuinness with pace 60 metres out, tries to thread the ball to Brown, chopped off by Ratton, clears the zone. It pitches inside the field of play and runs away from Williams and Tregenza, and will be thrown in outer side. Well, Kernahan's got a couple for Carlton. Whitney has 2 for Adelaide. A war of attrition at the moment.
Oh, he can't do that. Surely Madden just shoved Jarman in the back.
Gleeson slaps it out of bounds. Well,
Victorian umpire probably said that's fair enough.
Well, look at the free kicks at the moment. 16 to Carlton, 8 to Adelaide. Let's have a look at this. Jarman in front. There's the shove. Just shoved him out of the way.
The cannon. Madden gets it to Brown. Williams. Ratton now. Ratton from half-back towards the middle of the ground. Almost the mark to Visca, who runs on and does well. Knocked it away from Alvin. Bradley equally as well. Got it to Sexton. Heather goes down. Play goes on. It's taken by Alvin. Gets the hand pass away to Gleeson. Gleeson kicks inside the 50. Kernahan's in front. Got hands to it. Couldn't hang on. Pittman did well. First back. Got it to Rasciuto. Rasciuto tries to find the boundary line. Gleeson tries to find the footy. He did, but not in time. And a throw in. Left half forward for Carlton. They lead 3-7 to 2-8. Interesting Heather. A couple of half chances for free kicks not paid this afternoon. Watching the replay of last week's game a couple of times, I noticed he did get a goal from what was a dodgy free, and I think the umpires may have seen that replay as well. Here's Alvin, got it from Brown, goes across the ground. It's taken here by Madden, the big man. Some indecision, doesn't go for a run. He kicks it down towards Kernahan. Courage by McDermott going back. He was pushed in the back, surely.
Rasciuto playing a marvellous game, has his 10th kick out of defence, and look at the pinpoint accuracy. Tregenza slicing up whoever he's playing on, slicing them to pieces. It's Aythorne this time, a centering kick, and Whitney takes another mark. Just forward of the centre circle this time, he backs himself, gives a 15-metre hand pass, which is dodgy. Jarman, good control at ground level. The pass for Tasker, he's the decoy full forward. Christou does well this time, punches to Gleeson, off to Brown. Brown's kick out to centre wing. Williams roaming far and wide. And Williams coming up for his 12th disposal. Robbo reckons he needs to get 40 to have played a half-decent game, so he's a long way short of that. Comes to Alvin.
Lee's in trouble, real trouble with that right shoulder. I think we may see him come from the ground.
Welsh to Williams. Kernahan trying to get clear. Williams pass in that direction. Brilliant! It's a mark.
Play on, play on, Drew.
Says the umpire.
Yeah, Scotty Lee off.
Now Gleeson for goal. It bounces across the face. And Maynard's back there. Rugby tackled over the line. The umpire says throw it in. Well, I reckon that was a mark to Kernahan.
Yeah, there's Scotty Lee off. I said he was in real strife with that right shoulder when he had to attack the ball there without any sort of confidence. Liptak back on for the Crows.
Heaver. Oh, what? You're kidding. They're kicking goals from places you wouldn't believe they could kick them from.
Well, they have to, Drew, because they can't get any easy ones here this afternoon at Waverley. 4-7 Carlton, 2-8 Adelaide. 11-point advantage now for the Blues. Here's Scotty Lee. He really didn't want to attack that one because his right shoulder was causing him problems, and then he fell right on that shoulder point. Oh, he tried to protect it.
On the 7 Sports scoreboard, the margin is 11 points approaching half-time. This is Jarman. The Crows could do with a goal here. Brown out at left half forward. Brown on in place of Liptak. Centering kick. Tasker will need to go, but Sexton did best. Comes away. Boots it back towards midfield. Spalding's in front. Maynard the flyer. Liptak, as you can see, back on the ground. Rasciuto, who's been very good back there, trying to push it forward. Couldn't succeed that time. Wren stood up in the tackle. Liptak knocked it on. Chance here for Smart, who's been pretty quiet. Out to Bickley. Inside the last minute of the first half. Modra, the leaper, in front. Knocked away by Silvani. To Sexton at close quarters. Christou over the top now. McKay, a favourable bounce this time. Boots it towards the wing. Opportunity for Adelaide. Tregenza. One bounce through the centre square. Sets it up for Modra. Modra forced to spoil though. Fell forward, taken by Gleeson. Gleeson boots it out wide and Brown has the run of it.
20 seconds left in the half. Liptak sandwiched. Anderson just gets boot the ball. Jarman had it spent before he actually took the mark. Steers the pass in low. Modra, he was going to get the free kick. Nearly took the mark anyway. Free kick against Silvani right in front.
Yes, he's had a tough afternoon so far, Tony Modra. With Silvani, a top opponent, playing against him at full back. Sexton's been jumping into that hole, filling up that hole and helping out Silvani, and also Christou coming back across there as well. So nothing's come very easy this afternoon for Modra.
So far today, he's had just one kick. Kicked just 2 goals last week. Modra from 35 metres has missed it. Well, that is unaccountable for the man who's been a star in the home and away series. Now look at the free kick from a different angle.
Well, it didn't look to be much in it, did it, from that angle, Drew? A little bit of body on body early, but I don't think he was actually holding on to him. Dennis?
You can only assume it happened earlier, can't you?
It may be, but certainly not in that passage of play.
No.
But a great half there from Steve Silvani, playing at full back and obviously saying a few things to the umpire. They're not happy with that decision. They've matched up very well, in fact. There's Nigel Smart, who has been very quiet for Adelaide. He played a top game last week, but here this afternoon has only had one kick. Nigel Smart playing on Milhana. Tony Modra's had 2 kicks playing at full forward. So both forward lines really struggling to get a bit of the ball.
So a goalless term from the Adelaide Crows. Only their 3rd of the season. They trail by 10 points at half-time, 4-7 to 2-9.
The name of the game is Australia.
Half-time and Carlton lead by 10 points after they trailed by 7 points at quarter time. For the Blues, Kernahan's booted 2 and singles to Heber, a freak goal, and Madden a running goal, would you believe? For Adelaide, both their goals have come from Wigney. Well, I guess we talk about it quite often, but the old cliche, a battle of defences, gentlemen, we've certainly had that this afternoon.
There's no doubt about that, Dennis, and I really do like the matchups that Carlton have come up with this afternoon. As I said, Hannah, with his agility and pace playing at centre-half back, picking up Nigel Smart, has been a real success. And Silvani, who I believe is one of the top fullbacks in the competition, has kept Modra goalless. Here we see a build-up coming from the back line. And Carlton, with off the left boot, was Bradley. Greg Williams, who hasn't had a real big influence on the game, but I suppose you would have got 100 to 1 about this goal from Justin Madden, having 2 bounces and running in from just outside the 50 metres, aided by a slight breeze. A terrific kick there by Big Justin. And that was his 12th goal for the season. But really, Drew, you'd have to say, as Dennis said, defence is well on top.
Yeah. Well, when you consider that they've missed 2 goals, Carlton, from in front about 30 metres out, and 2 of their goals were that running goal by Madden, 55 metres out. And what about this goal by Heber?
Oh, yeah, this was quite amazing, wasn't it? And a couple of the chances they had, they really did miss. Well, Fraser Brown was a shocker, wasn't he? He had that shot from about 20, 25 metres out, really held back on the kick, but Heber's goal there, fantastic. And match stats, as you can see, Carlton just getting on tops in the kicks and the hand passes. The marks also in favour of Carlton. Free kicks, well in favour of Carlton, 16 to 10. It was 16 to 8 at one stage. And tackles well in favour of Carlton there as well. Hit-outs, well, Sean Wren did pretty well in that second term. He got back into it because there was a big differentiation at quarter time with Justin Madden well on top, and the centre breaks pretty even.
And the Crows were goalless in that quarter, Dennis, and 2 of their scores came from the boot. There were 3 rush behinds.
So half-time in the second semi-final. Carlton lead it by 10 points. We'll be back shortly.
The name of the game is Australia.
And welcome back to Waverley at half-time. Bernie, let's plot the progress here of Greg Williams in that second term.
Yes, well, there is a theory, of course, Dennis, that he can be exploited, especially on the bigger grounds such as Waverley. But I don't think he's had a marked influence on the game so far, Greg Williams. He was picked up early by McGuinness, and I think Graham Corns would have been thinking that maybe Tony McGuinness could run off Greg Williams. But as Robbo said, unless he has 35 to 40 possessions in a game, Greg Williams really just does blend in with the rest of the players.
Well, in the team stats here for Carlton, the only man in double figures in kicks is Fraser Brown. Until we go over to the second page, we'll see Greg Williams is up to about a dozen possessions. Heaver's doing all right with 12 possessions, and he's kicked that freak goal. And in this game, if you kick a goal, you are an out-and-out hero. And Kernahan's kicked 2 of them from 6 kicks.
Yes, in Adelaide, well, I think Tregenza probably the best player on the ground at the moment, or certainly the best Adelaide player with 11 kicks and 8 hand passes. He had Tom Alvin taken from the ground very early in that first quarter. Greg Anderson's had a bit of the ball also. Tony McGuinness, 10 and 2. Well, he averages 25, 26 kicks a match, so he's probably down a little bit on that. Stuart Wigney has kicked 2 goals. Chris McDermott doing a fairly good job, and I like Mark Rashudo across half-back.
Well, the footy continues, of course, tomorrow. It's first semi-final day at the MCG. Essendon against the West Coast Eagles. Peter Landy takes a look at the Bombers.
It was one of the matches of the year. Close all day, and in the end only 2 points in it Essendon's way. 44,500 fans yelling themselves hoarse, with the Bombers' victory putting them into the 6th, with the Eagles falling to 7th. It did, of course, prompt that now infamous Kevin Sheedy wave, which he's vowed not to bring out again. Since then, Essendon climbed to the top by season's end, but with persistent injuries dogging the club's finals campaign, that jubilation has turned to concern. After last week's heartstopper against Carlton and losing by 2 points, the Bombers are now in the hot seat. A cutthroat first semi-final clash against the reigning Premier isn't the path the club would have wanted, but according to Rick Renshaw, it is the perfect challenge.
We'll just take it like any other week. We don't want to do too much different, and I think we'll do fairly well. We're a good side, and they'll have to play well to beat us.
So on Thursday at training, all eyes were on those under a cloud. The selectors deciding to gamble on Fletcher and elusive forward James Hird, while ruckman forward Paul Salmon was named in the side. A big question mark, however, hangs over veteran Mark Harvey, who's suffering an infected foot. He's adamant he will play.
Well, we played them a month ago and we beat them by 2 points, and that was a tough game, and it's going to be no different. So whoever goes there on Sunday is going to enjoy what they see.
But for coach Kevin Sheedy, there are still concerns. One thing is using injured players, another is going into a match with players short of match conditioning. But with 2 premierships under his belt in the mid-80s, the wily Bomber isn't prone to any such errors. He believes he has the side to advance to the preliminary final next week.
We've had pretty good form right throughout the season. Actually, I think we've been one of the consistent sides in the competition, to be honest, and that goes right back to the Foster's Cup, and even when we've been beaten, we haven't been beaten badly.
Kevin Sheedy has done a terrific job with the Bombers. A lot of people left them out of their top 6 coming into the season. They've proven that wrong. OK, well, it's been a tough week as far as Essendon have been concerned. It's been a tough season for the West Coast Eagles. Here's David Christensen.
The Eagles have been quick to put last week behind them. The win over North Melbourne no more now than a pleasant memory. The focus this week has been firmly on the Bombers, and perhaps surprisingly to some people, the Eagles are almost hoping that Essendon get over their injury worries and are able to field a full-strength side.
We'd like to think that Essendon are going to field their best side, because we wouldn't like to think there's going to be excuses after the game. So we're just looking very much forward to the contest against a very talented team.
At training last night, a spirited session with ruckman Paul Harding cleared to play after being concussed last week, and no other apparent injury worries. Coach Mick Malthouse was quietly confident after the training session, but not prepared to discuss his tactics.
And the more and more you look at the Essendon side, they're a very talented unit.
Jacko, the job on Salmon?
Oh, I'm not going to talk about team placements.
Okay, can I ask you what sort of game you expect from Essendon?
Well, I suppose you really have to ask Kevin Sheedy that. I mean, one would hazard a guess and say it's going to be a tough opening and probably a tough game all the time.
And one of the last things you would have expected to see in Perth this week, an Eagle in an Essendon Guernsey. In fact, Eagles rookie Tony Godden works for Burley Seacombe, who make all the AFL jumpers. He's hoping there'll be no more orders for Bombers gear this weekend. Tomorrow will be his 5th AFL game and his 2nd finals appearance.
I'm pretty lucky to be playing a final game. I mean, some players go through their whole career without playing finals, so
yeah, I've been pretty lucky.
Lucky perhaps, but also very consistent over the past 4 weeks. And he's done enough to hold his place so far against the likes of veteran Dwayne Ladd.
Comes back to Godden. A goal in his first game. Tony Godden, a 21-year-old, debuting for the Eagles, taking the place of the injured skipper.
And so the battle of the Tiger back pockets. Michael Malthouse, Kevin Sheedy. So similar in so many ways. Essendon and the West Coast Eagles go at it in the first semi-final. The loser is gone. Half-time at Waverley. Carlton by 10 points. We'll be back shortly.
The name of the game is Australia.
Back at Waverley, second semi-final day, and don't forget Sports World tomorrow morning on 7, including the football hours, AFL and Rugby League. Seasons continues on Thursday at 9:30. Pat Cash is a special guest with Bruce McAvaney. That's Seasons, 9:30 Thursday. Olympics 2000, see the host city announcement from Monte Carlo on Friday, September 24. Check your local guides for details of the coverage in your area. Down on the boundary, Max Stevens and Ross Glendinning.
Well, Graham Corn's still very concerned about his half-forward line, and in that last term, David Brown coming on at the 20-minute mark. Again, Tony Modra at full forward, not rising to the occasion. Again, Graham Corn's having a quiet word to him. Now, Scott Lee, we understand that he only has a corked shoulder muscle. Nothing's broken, so that's good news. Corns' main message, be first to the ball and, for goodness sake, show a bit of interest when it does eventually get into the forward lines, Ross.
Well, I couldn't get through to the Carlton room, so Max, but I would assume that David Parkin would want a big effort from his back line in this quarter. Particularly this breeze has freshened a fair bit, Max, and it's carrying, I think, it might even be a 3 to 4 goal breeze at the moment, so the back line has played very well, and he'd expect the same sort of... I think he'd also want to lift from Fraser Brown and Tommy Alvin, who's back onto the ground, and also just get a bit more delivery with a bit more directness through midfield. They're getting the ball often enough, but their direction isn't as good as it should be. But that breeze, as I mentioned, is tricky.
The Crows just limbering up after the half-time break, down by 10 points. And if you take a look at the history book this season, it doesn't bode well as far as the Crows are concerned. They've come from behind once when they trailed at half-time this year at 9 attempts, and that was against Brisbane in round 10. I'm not sure that counts, Bernie.
No, past history means nothing, does it, Dennis, as we saw last week?
Well, I think the history does. I'm not sure about coming from behind against the Bears.
Yes, well, OK. But, of course, they'd lost 2 encounters, the Crows, against Hawthorn, and came out last week and won that finals game. So they shouldn't be worried about what's happened in the past. That's what I meant.
I was surprised to see Liptak come off the ground just before half-time. He's one of my favourite players for the Crows.
Yes, I'm with you. He's a very constructive player. He's a pacey player. He's a player who can kick goals. And I'd be with you, Dennis. I'd leave him on there and let him have a go at it, especially give him a half at least, because things are so tight on the forward line. It's just not easy to get kicks at the moment for a forward.
Well, I think he's back there as much by circumstance as anything else. As Scholl and Ulio come off for Carlton. As we heard, Lee
there's a fight already.
Tregenza and Aythorne, and that's not surprising. Tregenza has been terrific in the first half with 19 possessions.
Well, you've got a bloke out there who's just trying to do a tagging job, and that's all he's in the side for. And Simon Tregenza, who's a very constructive player, and a terrific game.
I don't think players should have to put up with that sort of nonsense.
I agree.
50 metres from the ball, or 25 as the case may be. Start of the third term in the second semi-final, and Carlton lead by 10 points. Wren is favoured by the bounce and gets it down, looking for Bickley. Standing up in the tackle, it was Bradley, slapped out of there by Aythorne. It runs down towards half forward. Spalding came to meet it. Knocked away by Liptak, taken by Wiedemann. McGuinness dragged off the kick. As a result, it virtually goes straight up in the air. McKay did well, backed himself against the ball. The crumbs came to Maynard, who boots it down towards the 50. Brown and Ratton, this will be interesting. Ratton does brilliantly, works his way in front and gets it across the boundary line. Deliberate, says the umpire. Oh, that's a very tough call.
I tell you what, Dennis, if you get a free kick paid against you in a situation like that this year, as we see this in replay, Ratton, there's no doubt he did go for the boundary line, but I reckon I've seen 50 of those in the last 2 months that haven't been paid.
Well, he was second to the ball initially, got to the front, as a result was off balance. Very tough. Brown puts it to the goal square. McKay gets back and concedes it behind, but we've got another free kick, and this time it's going to Carlton, and Christou will take it. So the umpires making their presence felt as we start the second half.
Umpires Peter Carey and Hayden Kennedy. Free kicks are 17 to 11 in favour of Carlton. I can just hear the whole of South Australia going crook about that one. And here's one to Adelaide. Going to Wigney.
Well, Wigney in front. They really must lift across half forward, Adelaide. I suppose looking at the positives for Adelaide, they're only 10 points down and they've got nothing out of their 2 key forwards.
Kick by Wigney right to the line. Christou and Silvani combined to get it over the line for a rush behind. So leading goal scorer for Adelaide is rushed. The Carlton defenders are consistently prepared to concede a point, and Adelaide's scoreline shows it, 2-10. 31 plays 22, and we're in the third quarter.
Big transfer fee from Liverpool as Silvani kicks in straight down the middle. Knocked down by Madden, taken by Liptak. Strong tackle brought him down. The big man wrapped his arms around it.
Ian Rush got that one.
Bit cryptic. Bounce about 55 metres out from goal. Randall Bone looks on. He's had some time on the ground. Wren and Madden slapped out of there by Madden. Williams soccers it forward towards the wing. Welsh worked off the ball brilliantly by Rashudo. Rashudo towards half forward. If it stays in, the Crows are a chance to score from this sortie. Wiedemann, well, he was about 15 metres in the clear. McKay was closing certainly, but Wiedemann and the Crows got an unkind bounce.
A little bit stiff there. Matthew Hawke definitely going with Tony McGuinness in this second half, doing the tagging job.
Smart goes over the top. Jarman. Ball jolted out by Ratton. Gleeson. Now, how will you see that umpire? Crowd having something to say about it too. It'll be a throw-in. Scholl and Diulio on the bench for Carlton.
Shepherding free kick against Madden.
Gee whiz, that's the Bermuda Triangle down there for Carlton, that area.
You're right. Well, I thought that was a pretty tough call too. Neither player getting anywhere near the boundary throw-in.
He does that often, Big Justin, doesn't he? Just getting the aerodynamics right before he takes off.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that again. There's Madden. He was throwing his arms out, but... Oh, yeah, well, technically, I suppose it was a shepherding free kick.
Ran from 50 metres. A great-looking kick. Home for all money. Adelaide get their third goal only. Madden kicked a 55-metre goal. Wren has replied with a 50-metre goal.
Yeah, well, tit for tat there, Big Shoe and Wren. And actually, I do agree with this free kick because Madden, no intention of going for the ball whatsoever. He kept Wren right out of that contest, so I believe that was a good decision there by umpire Carey. And that is a terrific kick for goal by Big Shoe and Wren. And again, the emergency talking to Aythorne.
3 points the margin. The emergency umpire out to Aythorne and Tregenza. And I've got to say, Tregenza very much the innocent party in all of that. Aythorne's got a job to do, and that's part of it, just losing his way and walking into Tregenza. He'll do it again probably as he comes back on him. And meantime, Madden and Wren make contact. Madden props in front, hooks it behind. Liptak did well. McDermott alongside the centre circle towards half forward. Ratton, who's been very good in defence, works his way in front. This is Williams, concedes some ground. Hannah has certainly won the duel against Smarty. Lacks support, gets it across eventually to Ratton. Some indecision now. Ratton goes across the ground. Christou juggles it, boots it towards the wing. Now they can come forward. This is McKay. The Blues look good here. McKay measures the options, goes for distance. Kernahan, Bisker in from the side, got it to the ground. It was mopped up by Bickley, who got it to Pittman. McKay again. Liked his game this afternoon. We've liked his season. He goes in short. Welsh, about 60 metres from goal, hard against the boundary line.
Yeah, short but indirect too, Dennis. Rowan Welsh too far out to score. And in the meantime, the Adelaide players have got back to cover Kernahan. A very congested forward line here for Carlton.
Blues lead by 3 points. Bradley comes on a lead and takes the mark on his chest. Plays on. Opens up the goal. Kicks. Good looking effort. Great goal. There are a few classier players in this competition than that man, Craig Bradley. Seized the moment. Played on. Opened it up. And kicked a wonderful goal.
Yes, there wasn't much space there in that forward line to lead into. And Craig Bradley finding about the only space that he could. Deep in that forward pocket. Seized the opportunity, played on. And that was a great goal by Craig Bradley. As we see Rowan Welsh going back to the interchange bench. He's been replaced by Ron Diulio.
Wren, clean possession out of the middle. Oh, terrific hand pass to Liptak. Liptak's kick well inside the 50. Brown, same direction as the ball, and Modra approaches it.
He's got the mark.
Yes, paid the mark.
Well, maybe lucky. It spilled, definitely spilled out. Well, Tony Modra has certainly found kicks hard to come by. He's only had 2 kicks in that first half. Let's have a look at this again from a different angle. Modra gets to the ball, takes it.
Yeah.
Had it for a long time, but, well...
No, that's good enough.
You like that one, Dennis?
I think so.
Okay.
Even better in slow motion.
Held it longer.
Exactly.
I bet the umpires many times wish they had the advantage of the slow motion. The goal by Bradley, incidentally, is only the second at the right-hand end for the game. Modra at the left-hand end, 45 metres out. Has got it. Modra breaks his duck. That's his first goal for the day, and the Crows trail by just 3 points.
Well done, Tony Modra. He has to lead against Silvani, no doubt about that. It was good stuff by Sean Wren in the centre of the ground there, doing the ruck work. Held the ball for a long time until there was an option there. That being Liptak, out in front, Modra leading. He held it for a while. I actually wouldn't have paid that, Dennis. I don't think he controlled it long enough.
Important sign, that one, for the Crows. Modra gets his 122nd goal for the season. Ablett has 124. Of course, Ablett no longer playing this season. McDermott out of the middle. They're winning it out of the centre at the present time, the Crows. Wigney, quick hands away to Brown. Brown comes down towards the 50. Modra comes on the lead. The little chip pass wide of the mark. Modra leads back and the ball spills out of bounds. He's a little inconvenienced, is Tony Modra. Not 100% at the moment. Scott Lee is off the ground. We're told a bruised shoulder. Haven't heard that one too often before.
Corked,
Thrown in.
wasn't the word corked?
Corked, that's right. Dr. Morfitt. Heaver out of the congestion towards the outer side. Anderson went down. Williams cleverly. And away they come. Bradley to McKay and now Heaver back to Williams, the man who started things. Heaver and McKay. One of two. McKay to Aythorne. Aythorne fumbles. Socket away by Tregenza. Some irony in that, and we enjoyed it. Tregenza feeds it back. This is Rashudo. Rashudo alongside the centre circle. Spot Smart.
Important turnover, that one, Dennis.
Wasn't it? Smart. Too far out to score, I'd suggest, although he can kick a spiral a long way. And he's contemplating that. No, he goes in short now. Modra comes on the lead again. Fisted away by Silvani. Brown goes after it.
Well, he had very few options there, Nigel Smart, because the only one back in the goal square was big Justin Madden. He had to really look for a leading player, as he did there, looking for Modra. He was too far out to score. Nigel Smart from about 65 metres.
The throw in. Madden works to the front. Sexton a big leap at the back. Help further up the ground. Anderson leads the race, going backwards. McDermott, a very high ball. Coming down about 35 metres from goal. Ratton goes for the boundary line and finds it. Well, Dennis, you mentioned the goal-kicking position for the season. Ablett and Dunstall have both finished 124 and 123. Modra now 122. They're the only three centurions for the season. Modra still alive. Brown, little hand pass. Wiedemann breaks the tackle. Back to McDermott, just playing behind the pack all the time. Centres the ball beautifully to Bickley. But it's Tasker.
Yeah, well, he's much better on the forward line than big Randall Bone. And Randall Bone didn't have the agility or the mobility across half forward. Tasker has certainly made some sort of an impact since he was brought onto the ground.
Needs to get a goal from all his efforts. Right in front, 45 metres out. It gets offline, I believe. Ooh, behind. A goal would have put them in front. But the Crows trail by 2 points.
2 behinds to Sean Tasker. They really need to make something of this term, Drew, because the breeze definitely favouring left of screen, the end to which Adelaide is kicking in this term.
Silvani straight up the ground. Madden doesn't attempt the mark, punches on, but McGuinness gets it out to McDermott to Jarman. Jarman's left footer off the side of the boot wide. Christou overruns the ball. Tasker caught in the Christou tackle. So the ball is Carlton's. Heaver back to Christou. He earned that one. McKay. Kicked by McKay. Wide to centre wing. Spalding at full stretch. No mark. Throw in.
No mark. He's saying, what about the other end of the ground there? You played that one to Modra. That was pretty similar. Well, definitely no mark, that one.
Carlton leading by 2 points, 37 to 35. Madden to Williams. Aythorne just gets the hand pass free. Hogg didn't like that one too much to Heaver. Put him under all sorts of pressure. McDermott gets it to McGuinness.
No, the free kick going back to Heaver, who was slung by Bickley after he'd got rid of the ball.
Frees are 19 to 13 in favour of Carlton. The kick to half forward. Rashudo gets it to the back. And the ball out of bounds at right half forward for the Blues.
Greg Williams being picked up by Chris McDermott in the second half, with Matthew Hogg doing the tagging job on McGuinness. Centre breaks well in favour of Adelaide. 4-0 in this third quarter.
And centre breaks, you wouldn't believe, have anything to do with the breeze. Adelaide have the breeze, but they're breaking out of the middle. Centre wing contest. Off hands, Wiedemann. Good hand pass to Brown. Brown, a bit of a fumble at ground level. He's taken out of it by McKay and will take a free kick, Brown.
McKay's done a pretty good job too on Wiedemann.
Men on down the ground. Jarman is one of them. He's got it now. Maynard storms past. Maynard inside the 50. Too much carry for Modra. Silvani read it best in flight. Goes back, takes the mark, plays on immediately. Hannah will need to go. It bounces obligingly for him. Some work done off the ball by Smart. Goes unpenalised because Hannah had the ball. He found Sexton. The hand pass untidy. Now Hannah.
This will show you how hard it is into the breeze.
Christou. Kick towards the wing. Gleeson props in front. Rashudo. He's a good young player.
Oh, he's terrific, isn't he? Mark Rashudo, only 18 years of age.
McDermott towards centre half forward. Christou on his chest.
And this boy's played pretty well too. Angelo Christou playing in the back pocket for Carlton.
Actually, it's Evangelos. It isn't Angelo. We sat next to him at the Rising Star lunch during the week. Evangelos Christou, Ange he prefers.
Yes, and nominated after his 4 goals against Hawthorn.
Madden, meantime, pops it up high. Mismatch there. Tregenza over Aythorn.
Interesting to watch, to see if Carlton can string 3 possessions together into the breeze. It's hard to do. Adelaide found it hard the previous quarter. Jarman, oh, great spoil by Christou. Hannah slides the ball across to Silvani. That's one kick. Madden marked behind halfback.
Modra's got to lift his game at full forward. He must do more when Carlton has the ball coming out of defence.
Spalding, the only chance for Carlton. It flips to the back to Williams. Williams floats a hand pass. Hogg had to wait for it. His tap out is clever. Bradley gathers. Now they're a chance to run it into the breeze. Bradley all the way to the 50, all the way to the 30. Craig Bradley goes for goal and kicks a ripper. Bradley has kicked 2 goals into the breeze in this term.
There's 2 very important goals. And here's the replay. Bickley more intent on running through Hogg there instead of worrying about Bradley. And Bradley was able to have about 3 or 4 bounces, run inside the 50-metre area from about 40 metres out. He's kicked 2 great running goals in this 3rd term.
On the 7 Sports scoreboard, the margin is 8 points. Mark Bickley backing himself to go and get the ball, and the danger evident there. Bradley got it and punished the Crows. McGuinness comes out of the middle, a high kick down towards full forward once more. Silvani got a hand to it. Modra smothered off the boot superbly by Christou, who overruns it now. Loose ball on the kick-off line. Hannah has been terrific. Away he comes again, his second bounce. Takes on McGuinness. He takes them all on. He comes up to centre half back. It's been a day of runs. We've seen the Madden run, the Bradley run, and now the Hannah run as he boots it down towards half forward like a gold rush. Madden was up. Wren didn't have the ball. He'll get the free kick.
And for all that, one big Adelaide kick and they'll be back where they started. Maynard steers the ball. Smart, or rather Wigney at full stretch, couldn't take the mark. Sexton on the bounce. Brown, awkward, comes off to Diulio. No distance with his kick. Liptak doesn't go for the ball. Shepard's Diulio off. Now they're out of trouble. Visca gets the hand pass across. It finishes with McDermott through Liptak. High ball to centre wing. Wiedemann, spoiled by McKay. It falls in favour of Brown. Brown straightens away from Ratton. The pass good for Modra. Juggle, no mark. Sexton. Carlton have to do it all over again.
That's the long kick would have been better. Carlton bring it out. 50-50 ball. Bickley will not be denied in that situation. Look at him go. Great balance and poise there. Mark Bickley pumps it back inside the 50. Silvani has been the master. Held without it. He'll get the free kick.
Yes, poor play there by Modra.
Silvani finds Williams. Williams, 17 possessions so far. Out of defence, not a good kick. It wobbles towards Sexton. Clean bowled him. Tregenza waits behind. Good tackle by Aythorn, got him down. Good hand pass from Bradley. Releases McKay. Shocking effort from him. Comes down towards half forward. Rashudo overran it. This is to Ulio. Ulio to Bradley. History repeats itself. He runs to 30. He may have kicked another one. His 3rd. Purple patch from the former South Australian. And the South Australians are reeling. 7-7 to 4-11.
This has kicked the entire Carlton score in this 3rd quarter. In fact, Craig Bradley. Again, he gets away from Bickley with good play by Ron Diulio, because Bickley was intent on running Diulio down. But he created some space there for Bradley, and from a similar position to that last goal, 40 metres out on the run.
Back in the centre. And how the ex-South Australians are punishing the Crows at the moment. McDermott to Jarman, great hand pass. Liptak through the middle. His pass wide for Modra. This time Silvani nowhere in sight.
Yes, the South Australians, the Carlton South Australians have kicked 5 of the 7 goals. Stephen Kernahan 2, Craig Bradley 3. And the other goals for Carlton, Brent Heaver 1 and Justin Madden 1.
Modra for his second goal of the day. Take him to 123 for the season. Looks all right. A goal. So Modra's kicked his only 2 in this quarter. Bradley's kicked 3 in this quarter. And the score is 7-7 to 5-11.
There's a margin, only 8 points still. As we see this, the Adelaide Crows winning the ball out of the centre there. Good hand pass from McDermott to Jarman to Liptak, and that's what Tony Modra likes. About 5 to 10 metre there on that lead. Terrific build-up.
Madden has to wait. Wren goes over the top. Jarman, who's doing well in that centre square. Wiedemann boots it down towards half forward once again. Ratton leads back in the race. It's close to the boundary line. How will he play it this time? He didn't need to. Brown socket the ball away. Tregenza runs onto it to Brown. Brown goes goalward. It looks pretty good. No, he's just missed. Across the face of a Hine. We talked about Liptak immediately after the break as Earl Spalding looks on. He's been lively in this term too, particularly in the centre square. Adelaide doing well there. Christou got it from Silvani. Sexton will need to go. Anderson closing, knocked it forward. Sexton battles on and again. Look at him go. Didn't have it. Well played by Sexton. Gleeson off the ground, gained about 25 metres, but put it out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, it's always danger in that kick from Gleeson. Not a percentage kick there, trying to kick that off the ground.
Adelaide, 19 scoring shots to 14, but they trail by 7 points. Jarman a centering kick. Wiedemann, listen to the crowd. Weed. He goes long. Silvani up high, hit the ground very hard. Out of defence, Carlton, or good running mark taken by Aythorne. Right half back flank. Kick by Aythorne to centre wing, straight to McDermott, who can't take the mark. Goes on quickly to Tregenza. He's taken out by Aythorne, not for the first time. And Tregenza keeps on getting the ball. 22 possessions. When Aythorne went on to him, he had only 7. So it cost Alvin his place on the ground, but Aythorne's done no better.
McGuinness away to Bickley. This game lifting now. Goals coming more freely. Jarman has been terrific. Back to McGuinness. Long probing kick down towards the goal square. Silvani angles it brilliantly. Prepared to make the concession.
Well, I make that 6 rush behinds out of this Adelaide score of 5-13. There's Randall Bone, who was very ordinary in the early part of the game, is preparing to come back onto the ground.
Silvani. Members side ever so slightly. Sexton goes back, knocked away well by Tregenza. Could have almost been a mark. It comes across to Wiedemann, and he's missed. Are the Crows kicking themselves out of the grand final?
Well, you would think so at this stage, Dennis. An easy shot by David Brown a couple of minutes ago, and now that one from Wiedemann. He's kicked 2 behinds. Adelaide 5-14 on the scoreboard. So they've had 19 shots to 14 and trail by 5 behinds.
Madden marks, dishes off the hand pass quickly to Gleeson. Craig Bradley has been the man of the third quarter. His kick over centre wing wide. Rasciuto leads, nearly takes the mark, but spills it out of bounds.
That's a player of the future, Mark Rasciuto. He's had a terrific year so far, as we see the player coming off the ground, Sean Tasker, to be replaced by Randall Bone. I'm not sure I like that move, Drew.
Tasker's kicked poorly, but he's taken 4 marks and had 5 kicks. But he's not Robinson Crusoe in kicking poorly in this game. Bone, a last-minute replacement. Originally an emergency, but he replaced Jamison. Carlton tackling 7-1 for the quarter. Can't believe Adelaide have laid just 1 tackle. Madden. Bradley fumbled this time. Through Bickley. He got it from McDermott originally. Now here's McGuinness. McGuinness short pass to Smart. In front of Hannah, a rare occurrence. Smart goes longer. Sun in the eyes of Modra, but he takes the mark.
That was a good mark, wasn't it, Drew? You could see him shielding his eyes before the ball got there. And maybe Silvani was unsighted also, because he didn't even make a spoiling attempt at the end. There he is shielding the eyes there. He's caught behind Steve Silvani.
And a straight kick will put the Crows in front. From near the boundary line, across the face of goal. And it's gone off hands. Another rush behind. Make it 7, Bernie, in the scoreline of 5-15. 7 rush behinds. And it's 4 points the difference. Carlton in front with 5.5 minutes to three-quarter time.
Silvani gets it from Christou this time. The roll's reversed. Back to Christou.
I think we've got Kernahan out to centre-half forward now too, Dennis.
Not a bad ploy working up into the breeze. Christou a high kick towards the wing. Madden props in front. Good mark. Plays on. McKay left it behind. Jarman. Quick to pounce. Goes in short. Wiedemann. Jarman's been very good in this term. Up to 19 possessions now. Wiedemann centering kick. Ill-directed. Silvani the mark to Bradley.
Only a half lead there from Modra.
Bradley comes away. A little too Modra conscious though, the Crows. To weigh up the options. The ball on the outer side. Anderson a chance to send it back in. Heaver closing. Anderson throws it on the boot and puts it out of bounds on the full. He has the capacity, Greg Anderson, to look very tired even when he's not. He looks tired at the moment. Here's Williams. He collides with Anderson. Fell to the ground, realised he was okay. Lays it off. This is Heaver. Heaver through midfield. Tregenza again. Back come the Crows. They want a goal this time.
Ooh.
Long kick from Tregenza. Crow down off the ball. Silvani again.
There was a player doing the shepherding there, Sean Wren, who caught one from Aythorne.
Wasn't exactly a bone-jarring tackle, but it was effective. It got him down, Silvani, as he played on. Taken by Wrigley. And he's missed it. Or rather, Wickney just missed it to the right-hand side.
2 goals, 1 to Stuart Wickney. He's had 6 kicks, 4 marks and 3 handballs.
3-7 in this quarter, the Crows, to 3 goals straight by Craig Bradley. And it could be the difference in the game.
That's mark number 10 for Justin Madden. So that's a pretty good effort. 10 marks in the final is good in anyone's book, Drew.
I'll say, and Silvani's taken 7 back there at full-back. 7 marks, going confidently at it against Modra.
3 against Aythorne there on Tregenza.
Gutsy by Tregenza, wasn't it?
It was a good effort going back there with Kernahan bearing down on him. As Brett Scholl warms up on the boundary line for Carlton, preparing to come back on.
24th disposal for Simon Tregenza before three-quarter time. Here's Wren, who's recovered from that knock from Aythorne. Off to McGuinness. Long kick. Bone gets underneath it. Comes to Pittman, 50 metres out, but he hooks it and it bounces out of bounds. So we can't even give him a score for that, even though it was a scoring chance.
Just about sums up their goal kicking this afternoon, the Adelaide Crows. 5 goals, 16 to 7-7 Carlton. They trail by 3 behinds.
Anyway, Bradley has proved you can kick goals into the breeze, so it's certainly not all over yet. Smart snaps for goal. Offline misses from 15 metres. In fact, out of bounds on the full.
Good smother. That's been a feature of the Crows football this afternoon. Kick. Well wide of the mark. Granted, though, he was under extreme pressure. Here's Silvani. What a game he's played. To Williams. Still deep in his own defensive area. The clock continues to run down to 2:30 now remaining in this third term. Carlton will finish on the breeze, only worth about 1, perhaps 2 goals. It's not strong. Wren over the top. Bones got it. Looks for the hand pass. Sold Liptak into trouble. Good tackle by Heaver. Ratton gets it across to Williams. He didn't have the ball. He'll get the free kick.
Not a good option there from Randall Bone with that hand pass. Liptak was completely covered.
Just needed a kick.
Exactly.
Across the ground comes Williams. Here's Christou. Can Carlton get a late one? This could break the resistance. He storms up through the middle. The kick ill-directed. Maynard comes at it full-chested. Rebound opportunity now for the Crows. Wigney's in trouble. Back it comes to Maynard. Tries to feed it to McGuinness. It was knocked away down there by Hock. McGuinness, was he carried forward? Not according to the umpire. And the ball up.
And the other thing there, when Randall Bone gave that very ordinary hand pass, the turnover was created and his man, Ange Christou, ran the ball up to the half-forward line for Carlton.
Well, we've told you about the centre breaks. Adelaide dominating. That's the good news from their point of view. They trail in this game as Jarman boots it down towards half forward, but they've got plenty of the ball. And if the opposition's got the wind and you've got the ball, they can't beat you. Ratton gives it across to Williams. This is Sexton. Sexton back to Williams. Interesting. Not too much pace there, but a lot of guile. The two number 2s fell over. It's taken by Ratton around the outer side. Kernahan was up, missed it. Falls behind. This is McGuinness. Hard against the boundary line. And now Bisker. Oh, good release. Good run too from Rashuto.
Kick by Rashuto. Up towards centre half forward, but McKay takes the mark. Goes on quickly. Wide to centre wing. Aythorne and Tregenza. It sits up on the point, the ball. Aythorne back after it. The hand pass is good. He wants it back, but it doesn't come back from Scholl. Kick wide. Bradley, the man of the third quarter. But he won't be scoring from here.
Great turn by Bradley.
3 magnificent goals in this third quarter. And they're still Carlton's only scores for the term. Kick by Bradley. Out in front of goal. Gleeson roving. He's still got it. Flips it back. High tackle. Free kick right in front. I was just about to say the whistle's gone for a throw, and it went Gleeson's way.
Well, it was certainly a throw, and 10 seconds till three-quarter time.
Yeah, let's have a look at this again. There's Gleeson. He flipped it out. Well, he definitely threw it out, didn't he? There was no hand pass there.
Well, this could be a vital free kick. Gleeson goals! Right on three-quarter time, and the margin is 9 points. Carlton 8-7-55, Adelaide 5-16, 46.
The name of the game is Australia.
quarter time, and still everything to play for. The Blues lead it by 9 points. It's 8-7 to 5-16. Bradley 3 goals, Kernahan 2, and for the Crows 2 apiece to Modra and Wigney. Graham Corns marshalling his men again for the final 30 minutes. 7 Sport is the home of Big Sport. The Brownlow Medal telecast is on Monday, September 20. There's the 2E's 1000 road race from Bathurst, Sunday, October 3rd. Then the Australian Indoor Tennis Championships from the Sydney Entertainment Centre, October 8 to October 10. Check your local guides for details of the coverage in your area. Max Stevens and Ross Glendinning are ready down on the boundary line.
Had a chance then to have a quick chat with Scott Lee. He said he won't be coming back on the ground, but it is definitely not broken. It's a shoulder-related injury, and it may be a whisker more serious than first thought. Graham Corns has asked the Crows to settle down, particularly when going for goal. Far too many opportunities went missing. He's asked a few of the players if they've forgotten that there's a berth in the grand final up for grabs today, and he pleaded with Nigel Smart to show a bit of impact on this game.
Yes, well, David Parkin was quite pleased with his plays in that quarter. Bar, he said, just 10 minutes where you relax, and the game really got away from us. He said they kicked poorly, which is to their advantage. He said he wants them to go long and direct to Kernahan, but don't use this breeze. And the same thing, Max, he said you can now play in this quarter for spot in that grand final. Very important.
Yes, here's the shepherding incident with Tregenza taking off. And here's Sean Wren coming in, just a little bit in that there from Aythorne. He's been pretty lively in this second half. Kicking to the forward line, spilt there to Greg Williams. Greg Williams with a handball over the top. Bickley intent on fixing up Hogg, and by doing that, this allowed this little player here, Craig Bradley, who's had a terrific third term. He kicked 3 goals for the quarter, 2 from that position, 40 metres out on the run, and 1 from the other side of the ground where he led into the pocket. Played on and kicked a very good goal. As we look at Craig Bradley's third quarter, he's had 6 kicks for the third quarter, 11 kicks in total, 6 hand passes, and 3 very important goals. But Mark Aythorne, who's still niggling Simon Tregenza, was just spoken to by the field umpire, so they've obviously got to look out on that one.
Start of the final quarter here at Waverley, a 9-point lead to Carlton. But they wouldn't want to think the breeze will just do it for them in this last term. It's a big ground. There are some tired legs out there. McKay up towards half forward. It goes out wide, bouncing towards Welsh. He went past it. Maynard, good hand pass. Tregenza has to wait. Spins out of trouble. Well, Maynard to Jarman. They can work it into the breeze as we saw Carlton do. Jarman does it perfectly. Smart was revved up at 3/4 time by Corns. Here he is straight away in the direction of Modra. Silvani punches. It's just outside the 50. Smart after it again. Still Nigel Smart.
Oh.
And meeting it solidly. It was terrific play by Sexton to get it to Silvani. His kick. Mark dropped by Madden, centre of the ground.
He's got the free.
He might have been a bit fortunate there. Frees up 24-16 in favour of Carlton. Unmarked is Alvin. Shepherding is Gleeson. Alvin touches down, goes to the 50. A goal here will be a nail for the Crows. But Alvin's away to the right. It's still in the field of play. And now it goes out, throw in.
Well, I've got to say I was very impressed with the Crows' fitness in that last term last week. There's Peter Dean looking on. Doesn't seem we'll see him play in this final round for the Blues. And the Crows' fitness will be put to the test here. Bradley makes something out of nothing again. Well, he's a miraculous player. He played in a Port Adelaide Premiership side back in 1981. He stood the test of time, and he's hurting the Crows this afternoon. His 4th goal.
Would the Adelaide people back in Adelaide looking at this be crying when they look at Bradley kicking 4 goals in this second half? And of course Stephen Kernahan kicking 2 goals in that first half also. So 6 goals out of the 9 coming from former Adelaide players.
Back in the centre. Madden wins the tap. Brown for Carlton. Brown for Adelaide. Bradley again, but the whistle's gone, and it's to be a free kick to the Crows. Coming to Liptak. Craig Bradley, 3 times best and fairest at Port Adelaide and twice best and fairest at Carlton. Liptak, kick up short of centre half forward. Sexton wrestles with his opponent. Gets it down to Gleeson. Round the corner he goes to centre wing. Heaver interfered with, and he'll take a free kick.
very good across half-back, Carlton, with Michael Sexton, Milhana doing fantastic jobs there on their respective opponents.
Kick went over the head of Gleeson. Aythorne goes blindly. Comes to Spalding by some miracle. Long kick, Kernahan.
A bit of a nosedive there, Steve Kernahan, but a great attempt to mark, diving mark from the big fellow. Spit out a bit of the Waverley Park turf. Here we see again a hand pass. Bradley there again involved. Big Earl Spalding, a hurry kick. Kernahan getting out, taking a diving mark and getting a mouthful of the Waverley turf.
Kernahan lining up for his third goal. The crowd here today, 59,233. So last week's final at Waverley was just 29,000. An interstate team, and it drew 59,000 today. Great performance, and many Adelaide fans have come over. Mixed emotions in Adelaide, no doubt, with Kernahan, their hero, lining up to bury them, and Kernahan might have missed it. Don't tell me. 2 goals, 2. Shrug of the shoulders from that Carlton fan. They wouldn't be safe yet. They lead by 16 points.
On the 7 Sports scoreboard, 9-8 to 5-16. McDermott to bring it in. 20 possessions this afternoon for him. There's Anderson. That will be ignored. He virtually comes straight down the middle. Wren's up in front, and that's a very good mark, considering the height of the opposition. Away to McGuinness, who runs away from half-back, chips it out wide. Maynard has to stretch, goes down and gets it. Now Bisker is on down the ground. Bisker can take it and go. He hesitates momentarily, kicks for space, coming up on the lead. Tasker. That was a very good kick by Bisker.
That was spot on, wasn't it? It had to be perfect, Dennis, and it was. Sean Tasker on the lead. I do prefer him in the forward line to Big Randall Bone, mainly because of his mobility, Sean Tasker.
Very important kick, this one. The margin is 16 points. This to pull it back to 10. Has it got the carry? Not quite. 3 Carlton players in defence, and in triplicate they push it across the line.
Tasker, I'm not kidding, he must have had about 7 shots at goal for 2 behinds, and about 5 of them have been rushed through like that one. Ratton into McKay, straight up the centre. Spalding is there. It's punched down well by Rasciuto. Goes to Maynard. Anderson. Crows moving it well into the breeze. Anderson to full forward. Modra caught behind. Silvani can't mark. Off hands it goes to Ratton. Ratton out towards half-back flank. Maynard. Fitness will be a telling factor here. The fact that Adelaide played last Sunday and had just 6 days to recover. Carlton played Saturday night. 6.5 days to recover. I wonder whether it'll make a difference.
I don't think we'll read much into that, Drew. I don't think it'll make much difference.
Well, they both played at the MCG, which wouldn't have taken as much out of them as a game here at Waverley will.
Gleeson down towards half forward, awkward bounce. Bisker gets back first. Maynard. Now McDermott away from half back towards midfield. Wigney held without it. He'll get the free kick. Advantage will not be paid. Here's Wigney. 2 early goals. Their only goals till half-time. Kicks inside the 50. Tasker gave a contest. Knocked down by Smart. Tasker again. McGuinness sends Liptak into space. He's dragged down. And like a soccer goalkeeper, Silvani stopped it. He boots it towards the outer side. It will run out of bounds in front of McKay. Well, another metre in elevation on that kick. It would have been a goal, and or Modra would have marked. David Kernahan looks on.
Mainly here because of the great effort from Matthew Hogg, causing Liptak to kick that ball low. A desperate attempt by Matthew Hogg getting to Liptak.
But an heroic performance by Steve Silvani, just the same. On the 50 it is. McGuinness like a terrier. Gets it out to Wren. Wren feeds a good hand pass to Jarman. He's got Brown on, but he goes for goal. Won't make it. Silvani again. Oh, has he flogged Modra? Silvani, the kick bounces. This is dangerous. On the bounce, Alvin takes it. Won a reprieve off the interchange bench. Spalding to Christou. He can go like a stall gift runner. Ange Christou off the left boot. Kernahan the chance. Pushed out. Must be a free to Kernahan. Advantage. It goes to Heaver. Open goal coming up for Heaver. And now Bradley, who kicks number 5. It'll be tough for the Crows now.
68 to 5-17-47.
Yes, the margin now out to 21 points, and you would think in a low-scoring game that it will be very tough now for the Adelaide Crows to get back into this match. We see the advantage there played, and Hoover second on the goal-kicking list this year to Steve Kernahan, getting that hand pass away to Bradley. 5 goals in this second half.
On the 7 Sports scoreboard, Carlton lead by 21 points. A heartbreaker for the Crows, did a lot of the attacking, and Carlton swept down the ground to kick one, a very important one. Anderson boots it out wide. McGuinness leads in the race. Away he comes then, Tony McGuinness, running towards half-forward, spears the pass down towards Modra. He's got it right on the 50. The man standing the mark has been superb today, Stephen Silvani. And again he comes into play. Well, he can do no wrong. Modra slipped over, and Silvani was struck by the ball, almost an involuntary action, and it went out of bounds.
That just about sums up Tony Modra's day, doesn't it? He's had a dirty day playing at full forward. Very quiet last week also playing on Chris Langford.
Well, Silvani's been a celebrated name in the history of Carlton appearances and finals, and the legend lives on. Jarman, who's been terrific, to Brown. Down towards full forward, Tasker, in the role of a spoiler, reaches over the top and punches one of his own behinds.
And I tell you what, Dennis, his look-alike in the back pocket hasn't been too bad today. Steve Silvani's look-alike, Ange Christou. Played a terrific game. And there's Serge Silvani. He'd be pretty happy with his son's performance here this afternoon at Waverley.
Yes, Greece and Italy combining to beat Adelaide. Here's Gleeson. Long kick, short of centre wing. Welsh and Sexton nearly bowl each other over. They're both down. Bradley has been magnificent. Bumbles a kick along the ground to half forward. Maynard leads Spalding. Well done by Maynard. Injured mid-season, came back. He was a spectator last week but forced his way in today. Now here's McDermott, the skipper. Gleeson up high. It comes to Rasciuto. Bounced off his face actually to Bradley. Bradley. Rasciuto got a smother in, and Bradley said, "Well done, son." That is terrific.
It was a great effort, wasn't it? Mark Rasciuto, he's been great this afternoon. Terrific across half-back all year.
Well, the Crows in trouble, but they've been gallant this afternoon. You can't write them off in this game or in the overall. This is Hogg. Away to Brown, to Gleeson. And the Blues now string it together. Run down by Tregenza.
Isn't that magnificent?
Fantastic. And the ball's out of bounds. Heaver and Maynard pushing it across. Well, it's been a tough, uncompromising game, this one. Tregenza after that chase. Mark Micken, a former best and fairest winner with the Adelaide Crows. Their first ever. McGuinness thumps it on. Tregenza's got the run of it, confronted by Bradley. And Bradley takes the ball across the line. Still about 16 minutes to go. But Carlton doing well enough. They're finishing on the breeze. It's overcast now at Waverley. In stark contrast to the sunshine of earlier in the day, Wren works his way in front. Aythorne fumbles. Liptak took him down. Madden soccers towards the boundary line. Bickley does likewise. It's out of bounds again. The clock continues to run. Another throw-in.
Quiet for Bickley, 15 possessions. Mike Fitzpatrick, dual premiership captain for the Blues, 81 and 82.
Free kick to Sean Wren. No, a shepherding free kick. Well,
it goes to Brown from Madden. The kick misses the forward. Goes to Visca. Left footer by Visca, short of centre wing. Brown sweeps the hand pass in. Maynard full of running. The kick by Maynard to centre half forward. Modra in front this time. And takes the mark.
See, they won't give it away, will they?
6 marks to Modra. He's had just 7 kicks for 2 goals.
The distance might test here, Drew, if the breeze has strengthened.
Yeah, it's a tough kick. 52 metres out. Hooked it. And another rush behind. Well, I'm running out of ink here. Let's count them. 2, 4, 6,
That was
8,
intentional.
10.
That was intentional too. I mean, Sexton punching the ball backwards there. It's obviously something they work on diligently at Carlton.
Well, again, they've
10 Ian rushes.
only added the 3 rush behinds to their 3-quarter time score, Adelaide, so they haven't had a score off the boot in this last quarter.
Christou gives it the boot, straight down the middle. Wren from behind, knocked on by Madden, and again by Hogg. Hadley. Ratton's got it to Williams. Williams forced to kick wide, good pressure from McGuinness. It affected the kick, and the ball will run out of bounds on the wing. So a throw in. Just over 14 minutes till full time. David Parkin can scent it now. He can feel a grand final. That young man, all eyes for this finish. But the Crows will need something special. Wren worked out of it. Jarman, great second half, was pushed in the back. No free kick. Brown on his knees. Williams, clever. Gets it across to McKay. Gets the kick off towards half forward. Working his way in front, Rashudo. It falls behind. Visca in the grasp. Rashudo only as far as Brown. Carlton keep their composure. Kernahan should have got it free. He's taken the mark in any case. Oh, terrific.
Yes, he's a terrific player, Steve Kernahan. Playing it full forward on big David Pittman here this afternoon. Pittman's done a reasonable job, although Kernahan has kicked 2 goals. Well, this could shut the door completely for the Adelaide Crows if their task wasn't hard enough already. There's a terrific grab by Kernahan.
What can the champ do? Kicks and kicks cruelly. Kernahan gets his third, and Carlton now stretch their lead.
It's interesting, the 2 full forwards have identical stats. Modra and Kernahan, both 6 marks and 8 kicks. Difference, Kernahan 3 goals and Modra 2.
There's body on body there, Steve Kernahan doing it very nicely. A great kick for goal. 5 goals to Bradley, 3 goals to Steve Kernahan.
Very dark now here at Waverley with 13 minutes left. It'll have to be a fabulous finish by the Crows to get up and win this. Williams takes it out of the middle, drives it towards the 50, very wide for Kernahan. In fact, way too wide, and it bounces out of bounds. Scoreboard lights shining brightly, showing 74-49 in favour of Carlton. They came into today as favourites for the game, favourites for the flag, and they'll go straight to the grand final. They've missed the last 4 final series, which is just not good enough at Carlton. Williams gets a hand pass, but it's taken by McDermott. His kick up towards centre wing. Chase on for the ball. Sexton leading. Wiedemann stumbles. Sexton gets one high, gets a second high, and will take a free kick.
This Carlton half-back line has been fantastic. McKay, Sexton and Hannah have shut their opponents right out of the game.
I believe the lights on are here now. We actually can't see the light stands from here, but
the emergency umpire racing up too, Drew. There's a bit of a blue one over there with Wiedemann.
Well, even for the loser, you don't want to get reported in this because there's a preliminary final next week with another chance to get into a grand final. So nobody wants to go into the book.
Wiedemann's been pretty quiet since that early start to the game. Very busy in that first quarter when he got a lot of the ball, but Andrew McKay's got right on top of him.
11 minutes 40 to go, and the margin is 25 points in favour of Carlton.
Here's Brown, down towards half forward. Wren, in front, up he goes. The crumbs to McGuinness. Smart, back to McGuinness, close to the boundary line, runs to the 50. This could be a good goal. He's missed to the near side. McGuinness still running. 26 possessions for him. At the margin, 24 points. Silvani and Bradley will dispute the honour of man of the match. Silvani got it to Hannah, who goes short to Alvin, who had all sorts of problems with Tregenza at the start of this game. Alvin just up from the back pocket. Very gloomy now, despite the lights being on, as the kick comes towards the wing. Off hands Bradley. He just keeps going like his opposite number, McGuinness. Brilliantly done by Welsh to paddle it back towards Bradley. Bradley kicks inside the 50. Kernahan wedged to him there by Pittman, who did well in a tight situation. Bickley's hand pass. Rashudo got it on McDermott, now Visca. Visca storms away from half-back. Boots it down towards half-forward. Great courage by Hogg.
Matthew Hogg towards the centre of the ground to Welsh. Has started the game on the interchange bench. The Blues will have a week off to prepare for the grand final. At the end of this season, that'll be something. And at the end of this game at Waverley, you'll need a rest, especially players like Williams. Aythorne breaks clear, just gets boot to ball. Brown still running hard, but Bickley's back there to take the mark. He wants to go on with it. He's cornered. Gets the hand pass away. Rashuto, what a game from this teenager. Centre wing. Wiedemann can't mark. In front, McKay.
His stats are pretty good, Drew, too. 5 marks, 17 kicks and 2 hand passes. And now a 50-metre penalty being awarded against Wiedemann.
That's very tough because Wiedemann was slapped above the right ear. He was making the point and arguing the case. And got 50. Slapped on him in turn. So a couple of slaps there for Wiedemann.
This bloke here, Andrew McKay, recruit of the year in my book. He's been great for Carlton across half-back. He's played in every game, along with 5 other Carlton players: Heaver, Tommy Alvin, Fraser Brown, Greg Williams and Michael Sexton.
And now McKay for goal. It's flat. It's shepherded through. McKay gets his first goal. 80 plays 50. The Blues are in the grand final.
Yes, they're well and truly home now. The signs weren't good for Adelaide in that third quarter. Now we see a little slap around the ear by Kernahan on Wiedemann. I don't suppose that entitles you to hang on for that long though, Dennis.
Well, I think he was confused there, Wiedemann, and conceded the 50, having been slapped by Kernahan. The ball comes out towards the wing. Liptak keeps it in front, handles it towards the boundary line, tries to go back inside and does successfully. Anderson threads it to Jarman, to McGuinness. So the question now for the Crows, can they regroup? Probing kick inside the 50. Christou goes back. What a terrific game he's played. And guess who? Silvani to Hannah. 3 of their best, although Hannah fumbles this time. Gives it away in effect. Tasker back to goal, but he can make something here. Turns, kicks, and for one of the few times hasn't seen his kick touched on the line. It's a goal. Too little, too late for the Adelaide Crows. 6:20, that's right. 20 behinds this afternoon to 12-8.
Yes, but 10 of those behinds, Dennis, have been rush behinds. As we have a look at this in replay, about the first mistake the Carlton defence has made all afternoon. Ordinary hand pass coming from Christou to Silvani to Hannah. I'm not too sure how Hannah got rid of the ball. I think he threw that out anyway. But the turnover resulted in that goal to Sean Tasker.
8.5 minutes left. Aythorne can't get a disposal. Wiedemann somehow gets it out of the middle. Up towards the 50. Sexton, fingertip control. Back to centre wing. McGuinness had it spent before he got it. Left it behind for Hogg. Hogg up towards centre half forward. Spalding. Off hands to Welsh. Now Williams charges to the 50. Gives off the hand pass. It's Heaver right in front. Another one. Brent Heaver gets his second. Was there any doubt? 5-goal margin again.
And 47 goals now for the season for Brent Heaver. He's done remarkably well since Molly made his debut with Melbourne. Went to Epping for a while and was picked up by Carlton in the March draft. And there is that goal from Brent Heaver. It's all run now for Carlton. It's been a terrific last term. And a free kick here spotted by the umpire and going to Sean Wren.
Centre square infringement
against
there.
Mark Aythorne, I think it was again.
Rashuto kicks it down inside the 50. Back goes Hannah. Makes another mistake. Well, he hasn't finished as well as he started. He's paddling it towards the boundary, anxious to redeem himself. But he gave it away. Smart gets it to Anderson. Vacant goal. He goes long, and Tasker, the only man down there, drifts into the square.
In 50 metres. Take him back to the goal line, surely.
And get the angle right. Get the 50. You're straight in front.
Yeah, exactly. Not that it'll make much difference, I don't think, in the long run, because Tasker shouldn't miss this one.
Several coaches have had terrific seasons, but none more so than David Parker. The Blues have come from 7th. They're in the grand final despite this kick from Sean Tasker. $7.20 to 13-8.
There's 2 belated goals here to Sean Tasker in this final quarter for the Adelaide Crows. Will Hannah just, well, a couple of late mistakes in the game, but he's played a terrific game. Kept Nigel Smart right out of business there. That turnover costly. Sean Tasker taking that easy chest mark right in the goal square.
this last quarter. Carlton have kicked 5 goals, 1 to the Crows 2-4. But they've kicked 2 out of the last 3. And, well, goals are starting to come a bit quicker now. It's starting to open up.
3 of those behinds, though, Drew, coming from rush behinds.
And the players getting tired, aren't they? It's hard for defenders to cover now.
So the point about that is there's 7 minutes left and they're 4 goals behind. I wouldn't just be getting into the traffic just yet. They go forward again out of the middle. Oh, he's been tremendous, Tregenza. It bounces up to the forward line. 2 plays 2. Christou the first there. And his man has kicked the last couple of goals for Adelaide, Tasker. Centre wing, Jarman. Paddles. Wren gets it on. The ball to the 50. Hannah spoils smart. Comes to the front. Ratton, the hand pass to Williams. And he's got time for a cut lunch out here before he picks up. Pick the best option. Gee, they're tired. Very slow to approach him. If you can't catch Greg Williams, you're not going too well.
There's Madden, who's played a pretty good game. Good duel, that one, he and Wren. On to Fraser Brown. Williams, 28 possessions. Brown inside the 50. Kernahan again in front. Could have almost got a free again, so he props. He's very hard to get around. Ball is tied up and a ball up. Clock continues to run inside the last 6 minutes of this game. So tomorrow it's the West Coast Eagles and Essendon to decide who will play in the preliminary final against, it would seem, the Adelaide Crows. Free kick down there, Pittman to take it. They do keep on coming, the Crows. Pittman out of defence. Time is their enemy now, of course. Wren up in front, fisted away by Madden. Well done by Aythorne. Aythorne about 70 metres out, but the kick's a shocker. And bounces out of bounds down there in the pocket, but still, time is being consumed. Of course, this will change next season, and I think that's terrific. The clock would have been stopped in this situation with shorter quarters, but as it is, you can see we're down to 5:13.
Yes, the wear and tear on the body at the pace of modern-day football is immense. Hand pass comes out to Bickley. He goes on to the skipper, McDermott. Really pitch dark here. Didn't touch that one down. Up towards centre wing. Wiedemann. McKay! Oh! He went the punch, nearly took the mark. Aythorne dragged down by Brown. Umpire will ball it up. Acrobatic effort there by Andrew McKay. 4.5 minutes left. 4 goals the margin, Carlton in front. Bradley sensational after half-time with his 5 goals. Tregenza, support from Rasciuto, back to Tregenza. Brown marks in front of Ratton. Dragged down after he took the mark. And they're really trying to hold them up now, the Blues. The kick by Brown towards the 50. Williams says, who's going to help me?
He had to look around, didn't he? He couldn't believe that he was there by himself to take that mark.
Bradley in open space. Craig Bradley. His 25th possession is a short pass. He gets it to Ratton. And now the sting has gone out of this game. Ratton comes back to Bradley.
The umbrella's going up.
Bradley goes to Gleeson.
I suppose these Crows fans have got a choice to make. Do they come over next week for the preliminary final or save the money and hope for the grand final?
Yeah, tough decision. Bickley. I thought you were going to say stay here. I'm going to say it's at the MCG. McGuinness gets it across to Bickley. Bickley breaks away. Jarman. What a second half he's had. Jarman, 26 possessions now. Smart on the lead. He'll need to do better next week. Liptak likewise. Tregenza, who's been terrific all day. Modra in front of Silvani, and Silvani's got him again. We'll have nightmares about Silvani tonight. Modra. Alban towards the wing, and Williams, aided by the gloom, I think he's getting away. Under the cover of darkness, Williams cracks that one across the boundary line. It was almost another possession.
Another pat on the back there for Steve Silvani from Ange Christou. Great games to Steve Silvani playing on Modra.
It certainly is a different game played at the big venues, and they don't get any bigger than this, although we had a look at the dimensions of Cardinia Park, and it matches it. But you can get spaces, as Greg Williams has found about 3 times in this last quarter. back out of play. The rain gets heavier. It's dark. It's wet. It's gloomy for the Crows. They'll have to regroup and come back next week for the preliminary final at the MCG.
That was cloud cam, I think, Paul.
Yeah, that was right up there in the stratosphere. The rain will be sweet on the lips of these Carlton players. And what a job. Only 6 survivors of the 1987 Premiership. It wasn't all that long ago, but 2/3 of a team have passed on. Silvani, Bradley, Kernahan, Madden, Gleeson and Alvin are back from that 87 Premiership.
Throw-in on the wing again. Strange scene. The rain arriving late amidst these celebrations. Certainly by the Carlton supporters. Wren's in there. Jarman again. Dragged off it. Liptak. Quick hands away to McGuinness. Wiedemann tumbling down. Got it to McDermott. Away to Bickley. Bickley towards half forward. Wigney is there. Sexton does well. Heaver off the ground towards half forward. Williams. Still he goes, Williams. Paddles it out wide to Heaver. Brilliant stuff. Despite the scoreboard, still players giving their all. Rashudo to Jarman again. Jarman up through the middle. Kicks inside the 50. Tasker props in front. Where's Silvani? Silvani slaps it out. Liptak's got it though. Kicks and kicks truly. Just over a minute to go. And the Crows pull closer. It's 18 points the difference.
Yes, that's Liptak's first goal for the afternoon. He kicked 3 last week against Hawthorn. Over the top, as Dennis has said, Jarman has come right into the match in this second half. Christou up high, slap away by Silvani. The player stayed off Liptak there, thinking he was going to hand pass. Instead, kicked the goal himself. He's a very good player, Matthew Liptak. Not quite as effective this afternoon as he was last week.
Back in the middle with a minute remaining. Bounce favours Wren. Chance to find McDermott. McGuinness. They might get another one. And a 12-point defeat will be no disgrace. Smart in front. Brown just overruns it. Ratton is there for Carlton. He's over the top of it. It spills out. Wiedemann. Still to the chance of Weed. Athorn the hand pass to Bradley. A hero, especially in the third quarter. Kicked by Bradley close to the boundary line. Everyone hopes it goes out. Well, except Welsh, who kept it alive to Williams. Williams off the ground. Pushed McDermott into it. And McDermott will take the free kick. One of the last kicks of the game. In fact, he goes by hand. Rashudo has been magnificent for the Crows. One of their best. In fact, he's my best, bro. Visca. 8 seconds left. Kick by Visca. Up towards centre wing. Spalding in front. A wet ball, a good mark. The Blues are in the grand final. And the Crows will have to come back again next week. They started today as premiership favourites. With a week's break, they'll shorten in the market.
Yeah, it was a big effort by Carlton. Terrific performance, especially by their defence, led by Steve Kernahan. Milhana played very well. Also, Ange Christou in the back pocket. Michael Sexton across half-back got well on top of Stuart Wigney. And around midfield, well, they had, in that second half especially, Craig Bradley with his 5 goals, all coming in the second half. 3 in the third quarter, 2 in the last quarter. Steve Kernahan always a target down on the forward line. He kicked 3 goals too. But their kicking for goal was exceptional, Carlton, with 13-8-86.
Ross Glendinning now talking with Steve Kernahan.
Steve, hello, we've done it. Steve, congratulations, terrific win.
Yeah, it was good. They've signed the troubles with their run, and they got the ball a lot on their own today, and we're happy with the win.
We'll leave it at that, mate. Good on you.
Well, amid pledges of love there, Steve Kernahan talking with Ross Glendinning. Kernahan goes off the ground, and Carlton are through to this grand final. They played well when challenged today, but I think one thing underlined as well. In the past 6 days, the Adelaide Crows have shown they're for real. A lot of people dismissive of their chances coming into this final round. Well, they played hard and strong today. They were beaten by a side with a little more finesse, and they were beaten by a former South Australian. Craig Bradley.
Yeah, well, he played a fabulous game, didn't he, Craig Bradley? terrific effort from Craig Bradley. Of course, recruited from South Australia, and if they had those two players in the side, the Crows, this afternoon in Steve Kernahan and Craig Bradley, well, it would have been, I'm sure it would have been a different story on the scoreboard.
I'm not sure there's any consolation there, Bernie. Perhaps it's a little more bitter to lose that way with former South Australians plotting your demise. So, in the second semi-final, Carlton are home on the 7 Sports scoreboard, 13-8-86. The Adelaide Crows, 8-20-68, 18 points. Well, the Crows led by 7 points at quarter time. Carlton came back, held them goalless in the second term, led by 10 points at the half, 9 at three-quarter time, and finally running out winners by 18 points. Craig Bradley outstanding this afternoon, finished with 5 goals for the Blues. Kernahan got 3, 2 to Heaver, and singles to McKay, Gleeson and Madden. And for the Crows, 2 apiece to Tasker, Modra and Wigney, and singles to Liptak and Wren. It certainly was a low-scoring affair early, a tough game as well, and I guess more polished Carlton in the end, Bernie.
Yes, especially that second half, Dennis, where they kicked 9 goals 1 to something like 6 goals 11. Although a lot of those behinds were rush behinds, with the Carlton defence doing particularly well. As I said at the start of the game, I really did like their matchup with Silvani on Modra. I knew he was in for a tough afternoon. and also Hannah with his strength, mobility and pace at half-back doing the job on Nigel Smart. And I think that's where really Carlton did their planning very well coming into this match. And also across half-back, I thought Michael Sexton did a good job. He got right on top of Stuart Wigney. Wigney kicked 2 goals early when he was in the forward pocket on Ange Christou, but then went right out of the game when he went across that half-forward line. As we have a look at some of the highlights from the last quarter, Steve Kernahan was terrific, I thought, Drew, all afternoon.
I just wonder whether Graham Corn's a little bit inflexible. Once Smart was kept so quiet, wasn't he worth a switch back into defence? I know that Kernahan only kicked 3 and he didn't actually kick them out of the game, but that was the margin, 3 goals.
Yes, I don't know whether... See, I really think you're stuck with Modra. I think he's a full forward only. I don't think he's a centre-half forward. So with Modra and Smart out of business, I don't know what you can do with him, because I don't think you can bring Modra out to centre-half forward, as I said. But Smart really did have a quiet afternoon. They got nothing out of their 2 key forward position players, did they, Adelaide?
Yeah, and we talk of the reliance of Carlton on Kernahan, but he doesn't dominate their goal kicking like Modra does the Crows.
No,
the second leading goal kicker for Adelaide's about 100 behind Modra.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. But really, they didn't get a lot out of any of their forward line. Wigney, as I said, kicked those 2 goals early. Bone did nothing, really. He has to look at his fitness, Randall Bone, because he really is lacking mobility. He's a big boy, but he's got a lot of puppy fat on at the moment. And if he wants to play at this league level, AFL level, he really needs to give him a chance with his fitness.
And there's no doubt it was a defensive game. Is that the way we're going? The Eagles won a premiership last year by playing defensively, and these 2 teams certainly went at it defensively today until Bradley broke away in the 3rd quarter. But, well, I suppose really these days a winning score is going to be 70 or 80.
Well, it certainly is the way it goes in the finals, because finals football is so much tighter and so much harder to break free and kick those easy goals than in the home and away season when you see the matchups, because they worry about the matchups so much more coming into the finals. And they realised, Carlton realised Adelaide's danger players, and they covered them very nicely. Have a look at the match stats. Carlton won in the kicks, ended up behind in the hand passes. Adelaide, one of the highest handballing sides in the competition. Marks well in favour of Carlton. They did terrific there. Justin Madden took quite a few good marks, ended up with something like 11 for the match. And centre breaks, look at that, 17-7. So really, you'd think with a side getting 17 centre breaks to 7, an advantage of 10, that Adelaide would have been a lot closer, and probably looking at that, probably would have won the game, but not to be.
Time to look ahead now. Tomorrow, it's first semi-final day. Essendon against the West Coast Eagles at the MCG. Check your local guides. Just who will play the Adelaide Crows next Saturday at the Melbourne Cricket Ground? One of those sides making their final appearance for the season in tomorrow's first semi-final. Time right now for Plays of the Month, and the month is August.
Oh, there's a pig on the ground. There is a pig at full forward. That looks like a large white landrace cross.
An expert in the field, it's a good thing you're here. To an expert in another field, the king of boot in mouth, Peter, I was a pop star, McKenna.
Now I reckon, I'll make a comment here, he's the best kick of a football in AFL. Now you watch this. Oh! I will never, ever wrap another bloke up. He is still, I maintain, but oh boy, they let you down.
I wonder if Pete also put the moz on Tony Francis. To the clash of August, and Big Jim Steins and Randall Bone were both a little worse for wear after this nasty collision. Speaking of clashes, let's get Graham Righty to separate these 2. Hang about, Righty, not the umpire.
He's just drifting into the right pocket now and dash back the full forward. That was exciting.
Something just as exciting were the marks of August, and Gavin Wanganeed's grab was a beauty. While up at the SCG, Alistair Lynch's screamer was just as spectacular. But never one to be upstaged, Doc Wilder decided to thrill the crowd by swan diving over the fence. Degree of difficulty, Doc, 2.6. While against Hawthorn, Kenny Hinkley thought they were coming from everywhere. But Kenny, they weren't. Meanwhile, back at the SCG...
It's great to see both clubs working together on this issue.
This is extraordinary. Yes, almost as extraordinary as this classic McKenna comic.
And look at that cheer squad. There's some good sorts there, Bernie.
You need glasses. Oh, yeah, you need glasses, Macca.
To the yuppie of the month, and who else would be on a mobile phone just seconds after the final siren but Andrew Jarman. Looking for finals odds, Jars? While the nice guy of August was the Swans trainer who kindly offered North skipper Wayne Carey a drink. Now that's what I call teamwork. But there is absolutely no doubt as to who the hero of August was.
Fine tackle. What a magnificent tackle. It's Darren Holmes.
Smell the bacon and smell the champagne down there in the rooms. It's on the lips of quite a few of them now, celebrating their second semi-final victory. But of course, the job is still to be done in a fortnight's time. Steve Kernahan, 3 goals on the forward line this afternoon as Carlton advance to the grand final. We'll be back with more right after this.
The name of the game is Australian.
And welcome back to Waverley. Carlton winners by 18 points. Greg Williams, one of their stars this afternoon with a lot of possessions. But I guess the man who really did it for them, we showed you Williams' stat track at half-time, was Craig Bradley. He finished with 5 goals, and this was his work rate in the final term.
Yes, he did. He really worked hard in that second half of the match, Craig Bradley, especially with his running. And the skill when he gets the ball also, Craig Bradley, because he kicked 3 goals straight in the third quarter, 2 goals straight in the last quarter. He ended up with 5 goals straight for the match. And you consider that Carlton kicked 9-1 in the second half to Adelaide 6-11, and that's really made a lot of difference in the end with the margin only 3 goals.
Ross Glendinning is down in the Carlton rooms, and with him is Mike Fitzpatrick. Ross?
Yes, thanks, Dennis. Mike, terrific effort. I thought it was a very even team performance.
Yeah, it was a very even performance. I thought we were a bit lucky to get out of it. The third quarter, Adelaide dominated the game, got all the balls out of the middle, but couldn't kick straight. The last quarter, we ran all over them.
The half-back line, Fitzy, I thought was very strong. McKay, Hannah, I thought they, not only did they beat their opponents, but they used the ball well.
Yeah, no, half-back line I thought probably kept us in the game, particularly in the third quarter. And the use on the way out. And then Ange Christo's running out, I think, also complemented Hannah's running, and they're a dominant force of the game.
Yeah, and what a great time for Steve Silvani to play such a great game at fullback.
Yep. Well, he's really done it for us about the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's dominated some of the best full forwards in the competition. They've only scored 1 or 2 goals. Go back a few weeks, Rocker got 1 handball, so it's outstanding. He's just playing great football at the moment.
And Craig Bradley's third quarter particularly, Fitzy, I mean, he really gave you a spark, didn't he?
He did.
And to kick goals as well was fantastic.
He did. We had a lot of trouble with the tags early on, where we didn't particularly like the matchups. And as the game went on, we managed to resolve that. Reynolds got free in the third quarter, kicked those 2 into the wind, and they were probably deciding goals when you added it up.
And I think the other good thing too, Fitzy, is perhaps not such a great reliance on Kerners today. No, even contribution around the forward line.
No, I agree with that. Much more even, and I think really it was a win which reflected endeavour more than anything else.
I think so. I think David Parker mentioned before you've worked so very hard to get this far. Yep. Do you have a preference, Fitzy, who you might like to play?
No, I think we'll take whoever comes up.
Yeah, I think we'll be happy with that.
Yep.
Well, thanks for your time and good luck, Mike.
All right, Ross.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Let's take a look at the statistics of some of the Carlton players. Well, Craig Bradley, the most outstanding stat for him is the 5 goals, but 19 kicks with 18 handballs. Great game.
Yeah, terrific game. Christo also in that back line, 17 and 5. Peaver ended up with 14 and 7. He was very good. And Greg Williams always effective. He's ended up with something like 30 possessions again. Going down the list, Justin Madden with 11 marks and 27 hitouts. A great game by Justin, up against a quality opponent in Sean Wren. And Steve Silvani, as we spoke about earlier, played a great game at full-back.
And Steve Kernahan, just the 6 kicks for 3 goals. And the second page of Carlton players. Well, Aythorne, he got a few possessions. He got 14 possessions there, but mostly he was just shouldering his opponent out of the way. I suppose he did quell him a little bit, but...
It was good nuisance value, I suppose, wasn't he, Mark Aythorne? Mill Hanna, I thought, played a fantastic game on Nigel Smart. His stats don't really show that with 8 kicks and 7 hand passes, 4 marks, but he didn't give Nigel Smart a sniff.
Tough afternoon for the Crows. Here's Max Stevens with Graham Corns.
Always hard in these situations. Commiserations. How did you see it?
Well, it was a good effort by a lot of the individuals out there who really did battle. And we had our chances, but overall we just didn't do enough to win it. It was as simple as that. We didn't play well enough when it was critical to play well, and we didn't convert enough of the opportunities that we had. I mean, the scoreboard says that we had plenty of scoring shots, but I think we've got to be fairly realistic and say that we just didn't do it well enough overall. I guess that's a learning experience that we have to take.
What about across half forward? It seems as though you had quite a few problems there today.
We just couldn't find the winning combination, and players that had played well in our forward lines generally had difficulty getting into it and shaking free of their opponent. I mean, I thought a couple of their defenders played very well. Silvani, Christo, Hanna and Mackay, of course, all played very well.
Tony Modra, is he injured at all?
I don't think so. No, the one he got was the knock on the leg. Was a shin injury. He had a very good player who played a very disciplined game on him today.
So in all, there's no problems there. I noticed on a couple of occasions today you did go over and have a quiet word to him. You weren't happy with the way he was leading?
It's really unfair to just sort of focus one player out of a team of 20.
Yeah, I'm not focusing on him. I'm just asking you that. Were you happy with the way he played today?
As I said, it's really unfair to focus on one player.
All right, tomorrow's game, who would you rather play, the West Coast or Essendon? Doesn't worry you, Graham?
What does it matter, really? I mean, we have no say in that. You know, we're going to have the team who wins tomorrow, and so be it.
Okay, thanks for your time, Graham.
Nice easy interview.
A tough one, wasn't it?
Well, Tregenza was fantastic and kept on going even though Aythorne was making life tough for him. He finished with 29 possessions. And Dennis, you pointed out that Andrew Jarman came good in the second half and finished with 27 was going well. McDermott played a more on-ball, in-the-middle type role today than he did last week and got in amongst the action. But Modra, well, we'll say it, perhaps for Max or perhaps for Graham Corns, 8 kicks for the game, 6 marks, 2 goals, way below the season average.
Nigel Smart also very quiet there too with 5 and 4.
Let's go back now to Ross Glendinning down in the rooms for the Carlton Blues.
Thanks, Dennis. Adrian, congratulations. I said to Mike Fitzpatrick before, I thought it was a very even team performance.
Yeah, it was. We had 20 contributors today, and that's what you have to do to win finals. You really can't have any passages. And I thought our backline was sensational. Steve Silvani, Michael Sexton, and Andrew Mackay, Mil Hanna, and Brett Ratner, fantastic down there.
Yeah, they played very tight footy, didn't they? And they really. Now, what have you done here? It looks a bit fancy dress.
Just precautionary, yeah. Just a bit of ice in the shoulder. It's okay.
So you pulled up okay, and looking forward to a week's rest.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Have a week off. It's been a long year, and a few of the guys are carrying a few little niggly things. So hopefully the week will do us good.
Now, I said to Fitzy too, Adrian, do you have a preference who you might want to play?
No, not really. We'll go and watch next week, and watch it next week and see who's going to win that one, and then we'll come up, and it doesn't really worry us who we play though.
Well, congratulations and good luck anyway.
Thanks, Roscoe. Good night.
Ross Glendinning talking there with Adrian Gleeson, a star last week, a serviceable player this afternoon. So in the gloom here at Waverley, smiles down in the Carlton rooms. Let's take a look at what's happening tomorrow. Who will play the Adelaide Crows at the MCG next Saturday? A lot of desperation assured in this game. Essendon against the West Coast Eagles. Gentlemen, in a word or two.
Oh, it's a tough one. I think the injuries could really tell the story there. Essendon running into injury problems at the wrong time of the season. I'm going for West Coast.
I'll go for Essendon. I think they'll be stiff to go out in straight sets.
We've got to say you're informed today. The only Carlton selection made by Drew Morfitt. So repeating Carlton home by 18 points in the second semi-final. Tough game of football. But in the final analysis, the poise and the finesse of Carlton got them home. Plus, of course, 5 goals from Craig Bradley. Thanks for your company. Don't forget the first semi. The Eagles and Essendon tomorrow. Good night.
It's the name of the game. It's the name of the game. The name of the game. The name of the game. The name of the game is Australia.
This has been a 7 Sport presentation.
Yeah, I'll just tell them to come in.
Yeah, okay.
10:30 have to be there.
10:30, yeah. Okay, mate. Don, can you hear me? Hello?
Just making sure I let it roll.
All right. Yeah, mate. Yes, I can. Okay, mate. So it won't be too long? Okay. Well, I suppose things aren't that flash in the rooms, but you've still got a chance to make the grand final, Tony.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, Max. We certainly had our chances. I think that third quarter was probably pretty critical. We just kept peppering away at the goals and just couldn't buy a goal. And really that was probably the difference in the game. I think had we had our noses in front at three-quarter time, it could well be a different end to the game.
For most of the day, there seemed to be a problem across half forward.
Well, our forward line didn't function as well as it has, certainly as well as it did last week. And last week we had Mondra, Wigney, Liptak and Smart that all kicked multiple goals for us. Today we just couldn't buy a goal, and really in finals you need to have a couple of really gun goal kickers to win the game. We just didn't have that today.
Who would you prefer, Essendon or the West Coast?
Well, I'm not really too fussed. I think either side's going to be pretty tough, and it should be a great game tomorrow. Really just building towards next week, and as long as we get through, I don't care who we play next week.
Tony, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Max.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. If you just hang on, yeah, I'll just have a look around. There should be a few others, and I'll grab someone else. just swap sides?
Yeah.
Okay. Stuart Wigney, commiserations, but got to kick a few more goals, I suppose, than kick points to win a game.
Yeah, it's certainly disappointing when you do all the hard work upfield and the ball comes in the forward line, and the idea is just to convert, and it does make a difference. You know, if we kicked 27, it could have been the difference in the game. But I don't know. You can't say the points is all the problem. It's the way the ball come in and where you're kicking the ball from. So you got to look at where you're kicking from, where you're leading to give yourself half a chance.
Was everyone aware, I mean, we all were, that a grand final berth was up for grabs today, but on occasions there may be a little lackadaisical?
Yeah, I don't think everyone is aware of what was at stake for the game, but I don't think you tend to lapse off during the game because you don't think about that, because all you do, you just focus on what the job is ahead of you. And I can't say that we were thinking about it and we sort of just went a bit latsy-daisy, because I don't think you do that at all.
Well, I suppose the main thing is now to regroup and the preliminary final next weekend.
Oh, sure. Now, we're not out of it now. We've just got to, as you say, regroup and look after ourselves during the week. We've got the advantage of probably that extra day, and it may just make that little bit of advantage, but we'll look forward to next week and we'll just give it our best shot.
Thanks for talking with us, Stuart.
Thanks,
Thanks, mate. Okay.
Is that it?
Hey. Go on. Just hang on, mate. If you can just hang on for one more minute. Yeah, okay. Okay, one more, Don. Michael Taylor.
Was it going live, is it?
Huh?
No,
just going back. No, just going back to Adelaide. Okay, 5-4-3. Well, Michael, how would you sum that up as assistant coach?
Well, Max, I suppose it was a battle of defences, wasn't it? When you look at the situation of we started fairly well and they came back. We had the win. They had the win the second quarter. They got just in front at half time. Our third quarter was very, very good. We just couldn't get goals. In the last quarter, they got away to a fairly good start. Then we came back late in the last quarter. So, you know, I think it was a battle of defences.
I think the main thing the players have to remember is there's still a chance next week.
Oh, certainly. I think you always lose. You always, you know, learn from your losses. If you don't learn from your losses, something's very, very wrong. And next week is MCG. Who knows who we play, West Coast or Essendon.
So the main aim this week, get the focus back in control?
Oh, no doubt. We'll train tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. We'll take the boys down the beach and get some soreness out of them, and we'll certainly get our feet back with us, put our feet back on the ground, and we've got one more game to go before we get into the grand final.
Well, you've still got a little smile on your face.
Oh, well, I suppose you can't take the whole thing on your shoulder. You've got to regroup and get on with life. Otherwise, if you get too far down, everything suffers, doesn't it?
That's fine. Thanks, mate. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Okay, can you just check with Adelaide? What I would like to do, if possible, is just a piece to camera, but out on the ground, if possible, for Adelaide to record into that. Yeah. Okay, thank you. They just wanted me to do a piece coming out of a thing saying something, then into Tony McGuinness. Okay, we'll just stand tight.
Yeah, the radio mic's, I think it's gone back up top, so I'll have to meet you back down the boundary. Yeah, can you
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. I just got to the gate and they'd locked the gate. Now, if we could just, the boys just setting up the lights, if Adelaide is still rolling, this is the piece to camera to go into the Tony McGuinness interview. Okay, just getting the light ready. Hey, how's that, Don? How you going, mate?
See you. I'll see you.
I'll see you at the airport. Okay, see you later. Okay. Okay, just wait. Okay, 5, 4, 3. Yes, a little disappointing, the Adelaide Crows here at Waverley today, particularly across half forward, but the good news is they're in the preliminary final and will meet the winner of tomorrow's match at the MCG between Essendon and the West Coast Eagles. After the match, I caught up with Adelaide's vice-captain, Tony McGuinness. Yeah, tell me what they think. Thanks, mate. Yeah, appreciate that, mate. And there's a little bloke in a room back there in Adelaide. Very good. Okay, mate. No, he was cool. Yeah, he said, look, you know, I understood your question, but he said he wasn't fazed at all. And he said, but, you know, I didn't want to single out one bloke. But no, he agreed, but he wasn't going to do that publicly. What, do you think he was going to get into me then? No, he was quite good about it. I said to him, look, I don't think I was just having to go at Modra. And he said, no, your question was justified. I just didn't want to answer it because I didn't want to say publicly that the guy didn't play well. No. Okay, look, thanks very much.